Yeah, they tell you that you should quit trying. You were too small, that you were too young. They tell you the chance is too slim, the world is too big, but you say how come? I'm ready to light a new fire, raise a new flag, to cross a new sea. And if I'm ever the one in your way, then put your head down and run right through me. I keep settling for so much less. Don't take what's given, just demand what's next. So we didn't see before, so we get out of here. Plot twist, so we didn't see coming.
Alright, how we doing tonight, y'all? Hope you're having a good Wednesday. Let's say I'm tired, y'all, but I got a pretty long stream planned, so stick with me tonight. I'll be your entertainment for tonight. I don't know. Yet again, I'm just numb, so I know it's another tough loss, but I'm just kind of numb with it all. And I don't know, man. Part of me is just like, okay, you lost another game, good. So maybe AK is gonna be making moves here, but also I'm just like, for all the tank people, I don't know why, but all the Bulls fans that want to tank, they're actually pissed. I'm thinking to myself, like, if you're a Bulls fan that wants the tank to happen, like, you should be happy. Like, not only did you lose to the Indiana Pacers, who are below you right now, you also saw Levine just straight up raise his trade value. So I don't know what you want, personally. The Bulls fans will never be happy no matter what side they're on. Yeah, we're going to talk about a lot of things tonight, and I am really excited about this one, just so I can seriously just rant out about how I think that Bulls fans that are analysts and, stupid old heads, I like to call them, they don't know what they're talking about with this team, and this includes Stacey King. Yeah. I don't know. I thought that this was overall like a game where you saw the dichotomy of this Bulls team, and you saw the issues with this Bulls team. At the end of the day, we're going to be talking about the Bulls not posting a Vooch enough, because that's what we're going to be saying on the radio, when instead... The reason why the Bulls actually started to get down is because they started posting Vooch more, and they started to run their offense terribly, and we started to see less threes attempted by this team, and less shots that were analytically effective. So I don't know what people want, honestly. Yeah, I'm very interested to see what's going on, Skocks. Levine dropped 35, almost triple-double game, but that was a bad shot by Levine at the corner. I don't know, man. Here's what I'm just gonna say. For all you people that thought that shot was bad, like, sure, but that's 4 seconds left in the shot clock. The dude has nowhere to go. He tried to drive twice, okay? So for all you boneheads that are like, he should have drove, I've said it so many times on this channel. I don't give an absolute damn how many times you tell me that. He tried to drive twice, and I don't think driving at the end of the game is ever worth it. We saw Levine drive earlier, and I thought he was going to call for an offensive foul. If Rick Carlisle challenged it, I thought that's 100% going to get overturned. But he shot it with 4.3 seconds left to go. He tried to drive it twice, got nowhere. He's then stuck in a corner, and there's no simple pass. If he's going to throw it back out, it's to Ayo Dosunmu at the top of the key, and he's nowhere near shooting position. So then once he throws it, there's 2 seconds left, and then it's like, why didn't Zach shoot the ball? Like, I don't know what you guys want. I truly don't understand. So I got this immediate tweet, from people that were like, oh my god, what a stupid play, blah 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 blah, and I'm just like, what else were you thinking? Like, couldn't get out of his own way. He tried to drive twice. And no one else is going to take that shot in that scenario. No one else is looking at the basket. Ayo caught the ball and he didn't even look at the basket, right? Like, no one else is going to take that shot. So Zach tried to drive twice, couldn't drive twice. 4 seconds left, you got to shoot a shot. Like, I don't know what you guys want. But that's just how I think it is. Levine going to find his way to LA somehow. Honestly, you know what? I kind of wanted to see him go just so I can see him absolutely ball out and just give a big F you to Bulls fans. Yeah. Vucevic took a bad shot before Levine took a 3-point shot in the corner. I don't know. But Levine would have passed it to wide open. He would have missed that 3-point shot too. So I don't think Io was wide open, by the way. And by the way, again, if he throws it to Io, there is like 2 seconds left to remain in the shot clock, right? Like, I don't know what people are thinking. Like, if he throws that ball to Io, there is very little time. It's either Io shoots it or it's a turnover, right? He has only one shot. Like, there's just nothing that you could really say elsewise. And if I'm going to choose between Levine and Io DeSumo taking a shot, I would much rather just Levine take the shot. Like, I don't know why people are pissed. Well, do you think any buyout option will even want to come to Chicago? Oh, no, absolutely not, and I don't want that. Io and Alex had dumb pass in the beginning of the fourth quarter. Oh, I thought Io DeSumo had a horrible second half, and I thought Alex Caruso also had a horrible second half. It would be easy if the Bulls actually just sucked. I would rather just suck because the solutions would be easier. Well, here, Lob Mob, here's the thing. I think that the Bulls are on their way to sucking bad. I don't know how long DeMar DeRozan is going to be out, but right now the Bulls they're down here. So if you want the Bulls to have any sort of chance of getting a top 4 pick to keep our pick, well, it's happening. So like we can legitimately get down to 13th at the end of the season, right? Like we can get below the Orlando Magic if we really want to, and then we're already below the Lakers. It looks like, or sorry, we're just above the Lakers. So yeah, I mean it's very possible for us to be the 5th worst team in the NBA at the end of this season. So if you want it, you're getting it. So yeah. Someone said trade Levine and keep DeMar and Vucevic. I wonder who that was. Give me their age. I would like to see their age. I want to see it. All right. I'm just gonna straight up just say this. Okay, this game we're gonna break this down quarter by quarter. Right. This is what we're gonna do. Okay, we're gonna break this down quarter by quarter and talk about what happened with this game. Okay. I think with Bulls fans and also with Stacey King and Kendall Gill and Will Perdue, it just, to me, this is where this is what's going to be happening right now. And I already know what's going to happen post game. I don't even want to hear it, right? In post game, here's what's going to happen. It's going to be that, we stopped going to Vooch down the stretch, we stopped executing the plays, and then our defense fell apart. Okay, sure. Here's what actually happened. Okay, and I broke this down on Twitter for a lot of people, and people I understand hate it, but I'm going to be that guy. Okay, I'm going to be this guy that is just going to be constantly talking about this, and I want this to be known. Okay, so the Bulls in the second quarter, okay, the Bulls shot 5 threes in that second quarter. Okay, their offense sucked in that second quarter. They only scored 19 points. The defense also wasn't too great. But in that second quarter, the Bulls scored 5 threes. Or sorry, they shot 5 threes. They shot 5. Okay, they made 2. In the first quarter, the Bulls shot 10 threes. They made 4. Bulls in the first quarter, they had 39 points. Bulls in the second quarter, they had 19 points. Okay, it's very obvious what the problem is. Okay, and you can see that the team is very capable of shooting at least 10 threes a quarter. Okay, which I think should be average, right? I've seen teams shoot way more than that. But at the very minimum, in my opinion, you need to shoot 8. But I would like to see 10. Okay, so that happened, and then this also was brought up at least this is what I brought up here. The Bulls shot 6 mid-range shots in that second quarter compared to 3 in the first quarter. And then also what the Bulls did in that second quarter, the Bulls didn't start that second quarter with Zach. They started with Vucevic out there. And it was just post up Vooch, post up Vooch, post up Vooch. And the Bulls offense sucked. They literally bogged down. And everyone's sitting here like, what happened? Like, why did the Bulls offense just suddenly go to crap? You're wondering why, right? I'm telling you why. And it's not just 3-point shooting. It's the stupid play calling, okay? So, if you want to just look at this, okay? Here's the Bulls shot chart in the first quarter, okay? 10 threes, lots of points in the paint. I'm not going to count these as mid-range. We're going to count these as little floater shots, okay? Because one of these was an Io DeSumo floater. I don't remember what this one is, okay? But these 3 right here, to me, are mid-range shots, okay? I'm counting 3 mid-range shots, all right? And this one right here is made by Patrick Williams, which I thought was unnecessary. She should have shot a 3. Look at the difference, right? We shot 5 threes in the second quarter. And look, we had 6 mid-range shots in that second quarter. We also shot less shots in the paint and obviously made less shots in the paint. Hence, there's the issue. That's the straight up issue, okay? That's the difference between a 39-point first quarter and a 19-point second quarter, okay? there's the issue. Now in this quarter, it was a little bit better. We had 8 threes attempted, obviously better. Okay, and we got a little bit more into the paint. Still a decent amount of missed shots, but I like the paint opportunities here. 2 mid-range shots. Bulls offense that quarter, in the third quarter, they scored 28 points. Okay, it's very simple. It's just simple, guys. And then in the fourth quarter, here we go again. Look at all the 3-point shots that this Bulls team took. This mid-range shot here, which was taken by Zach, I hated it, but he made it. Okay, and then these shots right here, you know what these shots are? These are missed. These are either missed putbacks, okay? And this one right here is a missed Nikola Vucevic hook shot in the post, okay? I don't want to hear the Bulls didn't go down to Vucevic down the stretch. They did. The Bulls used Vucevic down the stretch, and it cost them the game, in my opinion. So I don't want to hear we didn't use Vuce enough, this, and that. We used Vuce too much in this game, and it cost us the game. And my biggest point I want to make from this game is this, guys. This is the reason why I don't think Bulls fans truly understand what's happening, okay? When the Bulls blow a lead, I tweeted this out. When the Bulls blow a lead, what typically happens? We typically see the opposing team, they go on a 3-point barrage, right? We just see suddenly that the opposing team just starts knocking down 3-pointers left and right. And the crazy thing is that we look at the box score and it's like, the Bulls kind of matched them in field goal attempts made that quarter. Why did the Bulls have such a terrible quarter then? And why did the Pacers outscore the Bulls so much? Reason why is because the opposing team is just launching threes and draining threes. Okay, and what do the Bulls do? They come back and respond by shooting 2-point shots, by posting up Vooch, by playing analytically horrible basketball. We wonder why this Bulls team continues to blow leads. It's because we see this Bulls team, they'll go ahead and get a lead when the opposing team isn't making shots, and then suddenly the opposing team starts hitting threes, and the Bulls are still making shots, but we see suddenly that the 3-point shot is completely outweighing what this Bulls offense does. That's why this Bulls team blows leads, okay? I don't know why people are so confused with it all, like, oh my god, like, what, this Bulls team stops running things offensively, they start doing things bad, they start doing this and that, they stop running it through Vooch in the post. What happens is that the Bulls actually go to Vooch in the post when the things are going south, and it slows down the Bulls offense tremendously. And then Vooch takes a shot, it misses, and then all of a sudden the opposing team's out and running, and they're just launching threes in transition. That's what's happening, right? So no more of this, man, why did the Bulls suddenly blow that lead? Oh, we stopped going to Vucevic. No, it's the opposite. We started to go to Vucevic in the wrong way. I want to see Vucevic shooting threes, shooting paint shots off the pick and roll. No post-ups, no mid-range, okay? But instead, we saw the Bulls start to post up Vucevic a lot in that second half, and suddenly the offense can't keep up with the Pacers offense, which is just launching and knocking down threes, okay? The Pacers ended up having 18 threes this game. Look at the difference in this game, okay? The Bulls made more shots. They made more shots than the Indiana Pacers. They also made 15 threes this game, which is a lot more than their typical average, right? Look what happened. Pacers made 18 threes. That's the difference, right? Also the free throw shooting too. But again, Bulls made more shots, right? So I don't know what people are really looking at, but this is right here. This is the difference. Okay, the Pacers are just launching threes in that fourth quarter, right? And you want to look at the game chart, okay? Fourth quarter, Pacers didn't take a single mid-range shot unless you count this one, okay, which is a floater. Look at this. This is how you're supposed to run it in the fourth quarter. This is how you're supposed to play, okay? In that third quarter, when the Pacers suddenly put up 40 points, right? We see 2 mid-range shots, but then we just see threes launched everywhere, right? This is what happened. But in that first quarter, we see the Pacers couldn't buy a 3, right? In the second quarter, we started to see them get it going a little bit more. They hit one more than they did in that first quarter, right? But it's then suddenly in the third, right? We just see the Pacers just start hitting and draining threes, right? That's why this team blew a lead. That's it, right? That's how it goes. And everyone's wondering, wow, why do we blow another lead? Why do the Bulls keep continuing to blow leads? I might make a video. And honestly, I'm not even in the mood to make a video. But it's just, this is how upset I am with Bulls fans right now. This is it. And I want to get the message out even more. Please send Amar away. Honestly, I'm fine with it too. I'm sorry, Amar, because he has no D. Funny. let's see here. Even if we do get a top 13 pick, it goes to the Magic. If it's top 4, we keep it, right? But yeah, I don't want to tank, but I'm at this point now where I'm just like, this season's gone. I don't care about the playoffs whatsoever. And if not making them playoffs means we still give Magic the pick, but then AK is making changes this offseason, I'm willing to take it. Because clearly this team needs changes, right? What's going on, Taro King? Good to see you. Notice how he was killing us for 3-point line? Yeah. We don't play modern basketball. Like I said, if we had shooters, our record would be different. Oh, for sure. Literally, they were sagging off ILPWO, and at times, Vucevic kept focusing on Levine. Yeah, they were double-teaming Levine for a good amount of that second half, and he still put up, what? I'm not even sure. 18? I'm not 100% sure. Also, some Bulls fans told me I was leading score in the third quarter, which is bad because he's not good offensively. He was? I thought Io had a horrible third quarter. I could be wrong about that. Yeah, I thought Kobe was our leading scorer in that third, but I'm completely wrong. We get the top 4 pick, then we still have Billy though. I feel like if the Bulls full out like tank it, then Billy's gone. But you're right, Billy's still here, and it's a problem, and he's part of the issue why this Bulls team continues to be stuck in the 90s, right? This game, I'm not going to full out say they were stuck in the 90s, right? I'm not going to full out just come out and say, yeah, this team was playing 90s basketball, which, because there was a good amount, especially in that first quarter, it was modern day basketball, right? And I think that I'm not going to just say, oh, the Bulls were only stuck in the 90s. Like, Zach took 11 threes tonight. That's great. I love seeing that. He also had 13 free throws, which is also great. It's just it's these other plays that I was like, crap, man. Like, we're back to our old ways, and it cost us the game. Like, it's just straight up, it cost us the game. I'm waiting for the plays to show up here so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. But here's what I want to say. This right here, so the Bulls at this moment right here, all right, the Bulls were up by 6 with 3:44 left to go. You know how we got that 6-point lead? Okay, we hit 2 threes. Okay, like it's straight up. Here's this. Look, we're tied. Kobe White hits a 3. We got a 3-point lead. Okay, and then Pacers Pacers miss. We miss. Pacers turn the ball over. Okay, Dosunmu misses a floater shot. Okay, but then we get the rebound and throws it back out to Vucevic for a 3. We're up by 6. Okay, Pacers come back and hit a 3. Okay, so it's a 3-point game. So what did the Bulls decide to do? They decided to post up Vooch. This was, in my opinion, where the Bulls lost the game, because if they just decided not to post up Vooch, right? Like, sure, they could have missed the shot, but if they decide not to post up Vooch, I feel like this is a lot better possession. And sure, we may have missed the shot, but he missed it so badly that he's so far deep in the paint that the Pacers get out and running. And so what happens then? The Pacers then hit a 3 with Buddy Hield in transition. Zach then takes a 2-point shot, which it should have been a 3, right? He tried to step back for 3, couldn't get there. It ends up being a 2. Bad shot overall, but he made it, okay? Turner, he misses a 3, okay? And so then Pacers goes to the free throw line, right? And then we go to the free throw line, and then Turner comes down, hits a 3. Vucevic then misses a 3, right? And then we're at the free throws here, and this is when the Bulls have the lead again. Floater, missed 17-foot pull-up, okay? So, again, this was the bad shot that everyone keeps saying, right? And, again, I wasn't analytically fan of this, but in the end, he tried to drive first, and he got nowhere. And then, obviously, we see the Pacers, they hit free throws. Zach then misses a free throw, and that game's over, right? But like I said, to me, this was where the game was lost for this Bulls team, because they decided to post up Vooch, and he missed it. And all of a sudden, the Pacers are off and running, and Hield knocks down a 3 in our face, right? This is the reason why we lose games, right? It's straight up the reason why. And I really don't understand why people are confused. Kobe had a good game, 25 points, attempted a lot of threes while making them. Oh, Kobe had a fantastic game. Like, this was a fantastic game from Kobe White. I was really happy to see Kobe really step up. And yeah, 8 threes, a lot of his shots were in the paint, right? This was a great game by Kobe, and I can't complain at all. If we want to look at Kobe's shot chart, right, this is everything I want. He took 1 mid-range shot, which this was kind of like a running, like a little floater, I would argue. He just fade away. But everything else, this is perfect. This is exactly what I want to see from Kobe, and he was knocking down shots left and right. I can't complain. Yeah, I think what we need to understand is just everything that people keep saying, oh, we need to do this, is just backwards, right? There could be a lot more things that suddenly needs to that can suddenly be fixed, and this Bulls team looks a lot better. Straight up. Yeah. I thought overall though, Caruso, I did not like how he played today. I understand he's coming back from injury, but he was making some really weird decisions offensively, in my opinion. And then Io, I thought he got off to a great start, but then in that third quarter and fourth quarter, he was taking some shots that I didn't like. He was forcing some passes that weren't there. Just kind of sort of disappeared, honestly. I guess he was the leading scorer in the third quarter. I did not know that. I for sure thought that was someone else. I thought it was Kobe. But, yeah. But I thought Io down the stretch really didn't look too good. Kobe, fantastic game tonight. And then P. Will, man, I want to be, thrilled with some of the stuff that he does. His defense, again, looks great. I truly don't like what I'm seeing offensively. He continues to pass up open 3-point looks, in my opinion, and I didn't like I didn't like how I didn't like how he looked to attack this Pacers team. He decided to challenge Miles Turner a lot, which I thought he would have learned from last time we played the Pacers. You can't do that, okay? I don't know why he continued to challenge Miles Turner, but in my opinion, that's something he just can't do. He can't challenge Miles Turner. And we saw why. Okay. And then, Dalen Terry, I'm happy he got some run. Bulls fans were calling for it, right? I know Unstoppable is a big person that wants him to play, and he's, in my chat a lot. But, yeah, I love Dalen Terry's defense, and you can see that this dude can legit guard 1 through 4 easily. Like, I don't care who's out there right now. Like, the dude, I think, can legit guard 1 through 4, and I'm not concerned whatsoever. It's just, again, his shot, man, he has that hitch in his shot, and I'm like, whew. Bulls fans are like, oh, let's just see how he goes. Let's just see it. I don't want him shooting right now. I truly don't. I don't want him shooting that at all. I obviously, if he's open, shoot it, but that's not a dude I want relying on that 3-point shot. Yeah. Let's see here. They playing 2003 basketball in general. Yeah. I keep saying 90s because I am just appalled by the amount of post-ups we do. But yeah, you can argue 2000 like early 2000s basketball too. Yeah. It was like a mid-range post-up, then he missed on a guy that's 6'9". It was for Levine corner 3. Yeah. So Vooch, this is where, in my opinion, where the Bulls lost the game, is because they decided that, hey, we're gonna post up Nikola Vucevic, and we're gonna go and live through that. In a big moment, right, where the Bulls they were just up 6, they got suddenly the leads cut down to 3, and they decide, let's post up Nikola Vucevic, and it's right here where he misses. It's a post up. It doesn't work, right? I don't want to hear anymore about let's post up Vooch. It doesn't work, okay? And he misses it, and then we get a 3 hit in our face. Modern day basketball versus old basketball, right? That was straight up the dichotomy of how this Bulls team plays versus the opposing team, right? Nikola Vucevic, he shoots a post hook, and Buddy Hield drains a wide open 3-point shot in transition. That's the difference, right? That's the difference in this Bulls team versus the opponent. Trade players that don't play modern basketball, yeah, I don't get it. Let's see. Dalen got 15 minutes with 0 points. Patrick Williams didn't even play for most of the fourth, and P. Will, I don't think should have been out there anyway. I love seeing Dalen out there, but his jumper seems like he's a broken elbow. I bet this team doesn't have a shooting coach on staff. My goodness. Yeah, Skox, I completely agree with you. I don't think they have a shooting coach. And look, man, this is the reason why I'm like, I want him in the G League, right? Obviously, if the team's injured, right, keep him up here. There's no issue with him keep him up here if the team is obviously missing a lot of guys. But I want him in the G League because if he's up here all the time and he's getting minutes, he's forced to be a 3-and-D player, which is not what I want Dalen Terry to become, right? I want Dalen Terry to be more than just a 3-and-D player. So if he's in the G League, right, and clearly his shot isn't right, so if he truly isn't going to be reliable with that shot, then down in the G League, he can go ahead and work on other things, right? That he won't have the chance to work on up here. He can handle the ball down in the G League. He can run the pick and roll, right? his handle's also, in my opinion, a little herky-jerky still. It's better than what we saw earlier, right? His handles, I think, have improved a little bit, but it's still herky-jerky, okay? So, obviously, I think for him, that comes with just getting more experience. I think something with him is footwork when it comes to the ball handling. It's not very smooth, right? And that just takes time with a young player. Work out their kinks in the footwork with the ball handling, and then they're going to look a lot better. But he's going to get more of an opportunity to work on that down in the G League by himself, even without a coach, right? Then he's going to get the opportunity to work on it up here. It's not going to happen up here. So go down to the G League, work on it, get more opportunities, be able to run the point, right? Or do whatever. Like, you're not going to be stuck as a wing 3-and-D out as if you were up here, right? I'll be totally fine with that. But Bulls fans that were calling for it, I'm just like, oh boy. Well, you got your minutes that you want. That 3-point shot, man, he's got a lot to work out. And so I'm not saying he's ever gonna be he's never gonna be a good 3-point shooter, because we've seen with Lonzo Ball, like with Lonzo, right? Lonzo had that ridiculous form, and he's become one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. With Terry, obviously there's a lot of mechanics that need to get worked out. Same thing with Lonzo. So once that all kind of gets worked out, I'm sure Dalen Terry's going to work with a shooting coach this offseason. And if the Bulls don't have one, he'll go get one himself. And he'll be able to work on it and hopefully start smoothing out some of those mechanics. I want to look at Terry's just jump shot in slow motion. I need to see all sides of him, because unfortunately during a game we can't see that. But I do wonder, it almost looks like, in my opinion, that his feet are turned the wrong way. Or his feet are one foot's in the right direction, but he's kind of his feet are like this, I could be wrong about that, but that's just what I thought I saw tonight. But obviously the biggest thing I think is his hitch, right? That hitch in his shot is just, whew. So yeah, he just needs to work on some stuff. But yeah. Let's see here. I love Dalen to develop it to a modern Ron Harper or MCW. Just need to improve his shot and dribbling. I don't personally want those two players, right? I would like to see Dalen Terry, not necessarily a MCW specifically. Ron Harper I can agree with, because Ron Harper was a very good scorer in his day before he got to the Bulls, obviously. But I think Terry has higher potential than MCW. I truly do. So, in my opinion, if Terry can get that shot, that 3-point shot, that already puts him past MCW, because MCW never had a 3-point look, or a 3-point consistent shot. So, that to me is what I would want, is him being better than MCW, have a 3-point shot that is relatively consistent, and then obviously defensively, he's going to be great. In transition, I think this dude is great already, and he can have even bigger potential once he gets the ball in his hands a lot more. So, honestly, I'm cool with him being better than MCW, right? Yeah. Hey, Salty Solution. Hope you like the loss today. I know you're happy about the L, so you shouldn't be complaining. Let's get this losing streak through the All-Star weekend. Yeah, it could happen, honestly. I agree. Terry could be a better shooting J bucket for sure. Facing the Bucks tomorrow, I believe. I believe that is the case. By the way, no stream tomorrow. I do have some stuff to work on, and I'm going to be I guess what's it called? Sorry, I'm blanking on the term. But networking. I'm gonna be networking tomorrow, so I'm gonna be talking to some people in the Chicago sports media scene tomorrow. So no stream tomorrow, but I'll be networking a little bit to see if I can get my name out there a little bit more. But wish me the best, because I'm a little bit concerned how that's all gonna go. But your guy here is he's trying to get his name a little bit out there in terms of sports journalism as it goes, and podcasting. So we're gonna see how that goes tomorrow. But yeah, I agree with Lob Mob that Dalen Terry can be has higher potential when it comes to his jump shot. The dude can, in my opinion, legit be a pick and roll threat if he ever hits his potential. I don't know if I'm gonna say like in my opinion, he has that all-star two-way potential. I'm not gonna say superstar, obviously, but I can also see Dalen Terry developing into a Mikal Bridges type. And if you're not aware, Mikal Bridges just put up a 40 piece tonight, and he has legit scoring ability, right, off the dribble now too. So with Mikal Bridges like as kind of like a guy that I would look at, guy can guard legit every position, and I think that could become like a 18 point per game scorer, right? I think that's what Dalen Terry could legit become. So yeah, that's something again though that's gonna have to be worked out more in the G League than now. If DeMar DeRozan's out for the rest of the season, keep him up here, right? I won't have any issues with that because he's gonna get more reps up here and get more ball handling opportunities if DeRozan's out. But if DeRozan's back, then send him back down to the G League because he's not gonna get those opportunities up here, right? He's got that fire and energy like his attitude. Oh yeah, I love Dalen Terry's attitude, which like his attitude is one of the reasons why I believe he's whatever his potential is, like whatever his ceiling is, I believe he's gonna hit it, right? That's something that I've always looked at with guys. If they have that attitude, like they're gonna some guys hit that potential, some guys don't. Well, part of it's attitude, right? And to me, Dalen Terry has that attitude, so I think it's something that we need to look at. I'll go into Tankathon, seeing us move up the lottery. Good luck, by the way. Appreciate it, Self Solution. And yeah, our odds are going up. I'll say that. I don't think it's I think Bulls fans when they see suddenly 10%, right? They're like, oh my god, we have a legit chance. I'm telling you right now, if the Bulls end up being the 5th worst team in the NBA, we're falling back to 7th again, and that's gonna go right to the Magic. So we're not getting it. But you guys can hope. I'm more so just like, hey, if we're losing games, that means a change is coming. That's where I'm like, yeah. Did Dalen do good? I stopped watching at halftime because I thought it was over. Dalen, I would say, offensively was not very good. He missed 2 threes, both were missed badly, and he had a very rough turnover in that 4th quarter. Defensively, though, I loved what I saw. The dude can legit guard 1 through 4 easily, and his hands are extremely active. That he is able to really disrupt someone trying to break him down one-on-one. So defensively, I loved what I saw defensively. It's just on offense right now that to me he's a black hole, and not necessarily talking about him having the ball and shooting too much, just that he's legit not a good offensive player right now. So it is what it is. Second, Dalen's confidence has me more confident in him than in P. Will. I'm also right now, I would say I'm kind of in agreement with that. To me, with P. Will, it's just that his potential is so high that it's like if he doesn't even become like a quality starter, it'd be shocking, right? I'm more so right now, like I'm proud of what P. Will has done defensively this season. I'm just concerned offensively right now because I thought at this point we'd see a bigger step, and especially with DeRozan being out, like I'd be like, oh, maybe this is the time that we kind of see it. We're not seeing it, so I'm still just like in my head, I'm thinking, okay, OG Anunoby. If P. Will becomes OG Anunoby, that's a win. Okay, and I legit think he can become OG Anunoby, right? With a guy, he's not going to average 20 points per game. He'll average 17, and he'll bring the great stuff defensively, great 3-point shooter, right, etc. But Dalen Terry, right, I can see him, either being like a Mikal Bridges type, right, who's a guy that can be up for Defensive Player of the Year in a sense, but also bring some potential scoring ability, like 18 points per game, maybe up to 20, right? But if Terry can legit take his attitude and his 3-point shot really like works out, like I can see Dalen Terry, because of how well he handles the ball, he can average like 22 points per game in this league. It's just, again, he has to work on that shot. If that shot ever gets worked out, I'm looking at a guy that I think can legit take off. But what I'm worried about right now is with Terry is his shot might hold him back so much that might be the only thing that he can really work on in his first 4 seasons ish, right? If he's able to figure out his shot early, then I can see him like legit becoming all-star potential. But if he doesn't really figure out that shot early, then I'm thinking more of that Mikal Bridges type timeline with him, which again that's not a bad thing, right? If we get a Mikal Bridges and an OG Anunoby out of Dalen Terry and Patrick Williams, that's perfect, right? I have no issue with that whatsoever, right? Dalen had the spirit of Joakim Noah in a perimeter player. I like that comp for sure. For me, it's just like the cream rise to the top. Even the pre-draft process, I didn't see great potential in Pat. I don't know if it's just me. So that that draft with Patrick Williams going fourth. Okay, I feel like with that draft, no one really knew who was going after the top three. Right? We all knew it was going to be in some way the top three, whichever order it's going to be. LaMelo Ball, James Wiseman, and Anthony Edwards. Like, figure it out how the order goes. But those are the top three no matter what. I think because that season, with the pre-draft process being so hampered due to COVID, the draft was much later than expected because of COVID. And we didn't get like an actual true combine to kind of look at some of these guys, right? That's the reason why it was all kind of like, what the hell's happening? We don't know who's going after three. This guy could go fourth. This guy could go 20th, right? I forget who it was, but there was a guy that I know was supposed to go like lottery, and then he fell back to like 22nd, right? So, RJ Hampton, right? Everyone kind of thought he'd go lottery like mid first round, probably at the latest he'd go 18th, but then the dude fell, right? So it just kind of shows you that draft, in my opinion, was probably one of the hardest drafts to ever gauge, because it was COVID season, pre-draft workouts were all crazy, draft was at a different time than usual, and no draft combine, right? So with P. Will, I was also pretty upset initially at the pick, because I'm like, I don't know who this guy is, right? And all I was hearing was Halliburton, Denny Avdia, and I forget the other person, right? So, but what I also didn't like from Bulls fans was suddenly like, oh, we're just counting him out because we didn't draft Denny Avdia, right? I think there's a very well-known Rusty Buckets video where he ranted about Patrick Williams going number 4. And I was just like, I don't think that's a good initial reaction to have, right? He will go number 4. Like, sure, it's surprising, but I think it's just because that we didn't really know the name that everyone was so upset. I could see why he went number 4. His potential is obviously there. I just think also, though, what I think maybe AK and Mark Eversley kind of looked over was his attitude, right? Does he have that killer instinct in him? Because obviously everything we've heard from Patrick Williams is that he's very soft-spoken. He doesn't really have that mentality of like, I'm going to be the best player every single night, right? And I'm not saying that a guy needs to be, very talkative for him to have that killer mentality. Derrick Rose had that killer mentality, even though he was very quiet, right? He was very humble, but you knew that he played with a killer instinct. But Patrick Williams, I don't know how his interviews went, but clearly he convinced the Bulls, like, okay, we can count on this guy, right? We're gonna risk it for this guy. Which to me is like, did you really do your due diligence with some of these other guys, right? Because I don't know what P. Will said. I don't know what any of the other people said. I just think that that's something that needs to be looked at really very heavily during interviews for pre-draft workouts, right? So, yeah, something that I'm like really looking into moving forward when we draft guys, right? So, yeah. Yeah, because his defense and his acclimation / adjustment to the pro game it's going to happen naturally. So I agree. It's all about Dalen's 3-ball being worked on. I hope and hopefully perfected to a high level. Yeah, if Dalen Terry can suddenly shoot 38% from 3-point range, I'm looking at a very, very good player easily. But that's a big if, and that's obviously the biggest thing that's going to hold him back. So I think he has that right mentality though to work on that shot, right? Because here's what I also think about it as like. Ben Simmons obviously is, even without a 3-point shot, he brings a lot to the game. But we know what Ben Simmons mentally, he's not ready to take that next step, right? He legit won't mentally get over that hurdle of like, I can't shoot threes. I'm never going to work on my threes, right? But Terry, to me, his 3-point shot is extremely shaky right now, and I have no faith in it whatsoever if he ever shot it. But his mentality, in my opinion, is perfect because it's like, okay, I know my 3-point shot sucks. I know that I can bring a lot more on other areas of the game. Well, for me, if I'm gonna get more playing time and become a player that I think I can be, I need to work on my shot, and I'm gonna do anything possible to make sure I work on this shot and get it right. Obviously, it's not a guarantee, even if he works on it a ton, that he's ever gonna get it right. But just initially, though, with that mentality of being like, I'm gonna be the best player ever that I can personally be, right? To me, that gives me a lot of faith that shot's gonna get worked out. So I'm not necessarily concerned about Terry's shot. I'm concerned about it now, obviously, because he doesn't have time to work on it. But I do think it's going to get smoothed out eventually. I just don't know when, right? If it's in one off season, fantastic. His potential seriously rises. If it's in 4 off seasons, then all right, you know what? That's cool too. He'll still be a great player. Agreed, dude. The Bulls' current scouting staff is very shaky for me. We also picked Terry over Malachi Branham and Jane Hardy last year. It seemed obvious to draft an actual scorer before this year. So I am Skokes. Let me ask you this, okay? I'm aware of Jane Hardy and Malachi Branham. Like, those two guys, you know, they've had pretty all right rookie seasons, right? But here's what I'm going to ask you. If you're drafting based off potential, right, are you drafting Malachi Branham and Jane Hardy over Dalen Terry, right? Because at the end of the day, what you should never do in a draft, right, you should never, ever, ever draft off of need, okay? That is the last thing you should ever do when it comes to drafting. You never draft based off need, okay? A lot of people also bring up Walker Kessler, okay? Walker Kessler has had a very phenomenal rookie season for a dude that is coming out of college and is a big man, adjusting to the NBA level, right? To me, Walker Kessler has done a lot well, okay? But here's the thing, okay? Everyone's saying, wow, the Bulls really needed a Walker Kessler. Like, you would have helped this Bulls team tremendously. And I'm thinking to myself, sure, he could have helped this year. Like, I don't think that's an argument. But is Walker Kessler's potential higher than Dalen Terry's? To me, Walker Kessler, even though that he's had a very solid rookie season, I don't see his potential being that high. I think his potential to me is just a very solid, okay-ish center, right? And he can obviously start on some teams, but he'd probably be more effective coming off the bench for the rest of his career, okay? I don't want to draft a guy that doesn't have that high of a ceiling, okay? With Dalen Terry, in my opinion, the dude has a very high ceiling, okay? Obviously, we don't know if that's ever going to turn out, but I'm willing to take that bet, right? And I don't know why Bulls fans continue to have this whole, like, why didn't we draft this guy? We need this, okay? The Bulls drafted Ayo Dosunmu, and we had a crap ton of guards like on that team, right? Like, we had a crap ton of guards, okay? Ayo's here, and he's starting, and he's playing 40 minutes a night. He played 42 minutes tonight, okay? I don't care what we have. At the end of the day, you draft based off of potential, and you draft based off best player available, okay? You never draft based off of need. Ask the Portland Trail Blazers back in 1984. Would they have drafted Michael Jordan over Sam Bowie if they had a chance to redo it again? The answer is yes. They had Clyde Drexler on their team. They already had a shooting guard. There's no reason for them to draft a shooting guard, right? I don't care. If you have a chance to draft the best player available and with the highest potential, you draft them. I don't care if you have 6 small forwards on your team and you're about to draft a small forward. You draft them, because guess what? You can always move those guys that are on your team, right? You can always move them. For example, the Denver Nuggets, okay? The Denver Nuggets did this before. The Denver Nuggets, they had Yusuf Nurkic. I forget they had some other center as well. I believe it was Mason Plumlee. No, it wasn't him. Never mind. I don't know. But the Denver Nuggets, they had like a ton of centers on their squad. And they drafted Nikola Jokic with the 44th overall pick one year. And everyone's kind of like, well, why did they draft Nikola Jokic? They already have like a crap ton of centers. He's not getting any playing time. Well, Jokic turns out to be an MVP, so what happens? You trade Yusuf Nurkic to the Portland Trail Blazers, you get rid of everyone else. You keep Nikola Jokic, right? That's how it's supposed to work, okay? So, I understand what you're saying, Skokes. Like, yeah, I'm aware that Jaden Hardy's had a great year. I'm aware that Malachi Branham has very high scoring potential. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at Dalen Terry as having much higher potential than both of them. Because his defense is very, very, very good already. And again, if we just, as we continue to talk, like, if he ever gets a shot, right, the dude is suddenly, I'm thinking, all-star level, right? So, thing is that with Jaden Hardy, like, I like Jaden Hardy. I don't know how much he's going to be able to do in this NBA. Like, I think he's more of like a bench type player that is going to be a very solid bench player. But with Terry, I can see him being a starter. right? So already I'm looking at a big potential difference. Malachi Branham, in my opinion, he is straight up just like a scorer. I don't really know much about like his defense at all, but obviously he's also, he's kind of in a really weird spot, right? So to me, again, Dalen Terry has that higher potential. Again, it's not guaranteed to work, okay? There's going to be drafts where you draft the guy that you thought had high potential, doesn't work out, but you take that risk, right? You always take that risk. Now, one guy that I will say, though, that maybe if we kind of had a chance to redo it, I would consider is this guy. Ochai Agbaji, in my opinion, is a guy that I think has some serious potential. He got drafted by Cleveland and traded to Utah in that Donovan Mitchell deal, okay? Ochai Agbaji, I can understand, okay? Because I took some time to scout him, and I really like him. I think he has some serious potential in this league as a two-way player, by the way. So maybe that should have been, a guy that we would look to have moved up and drafted, right? Maybe that's a guy that we should have picked instead, if we really thought that he was worth it. But at the end of the day, he went before Dalen Terry, so nothing you can really do about it, right? But yeah, that's just the way I would run things. I think that's just the way that the NBA usually runs things. So I understand what you're saying, Skokes, but to me, it's always draft based off potential best player available. I truly don't care about what is already on the team, right? So at the end of the day, you just draft based off potential, because again, as I always bring up, 1984, Portland already has a small forward, or sorry, a shooting guard. Michael Jordan's there. They decide to pass on him, right? Sam Bowie, he didn't have a horrible career, but it's not Michael Jordan, right? Hence why you always draft based off potential. And I think if you talk to anybody, right, they knew that Jordan was better than Sam Bowie. Okay, they kind of knew that. So I don't blame the Rockets for taking Hakeem Olajuwon, by the way, because I thought if you look at it, Hakeem had the better potential at the time. And obviously that wasn't a bad pick. He won 2 championships, and the dude was incredible. But yeah, that Sam Bowie pick, whew, not ideal. All right. Couple other things I want to talk about in this game. Kobe. So I was a little bit concerned about Kobe for, coming down the stretch here. I thought Kobe White was going to not look very good. Obviously, in this is another one of those games where I'm like, hey, you got to step it up. You have to make sure that you really, really bring it in this game. And you're going to have to take a bulk of the shots, because we're missing 20 shots because DeMar DeRozan isn't there. And I thought Kobe White came out and had a phenomenal game from end to end. He only turned it over once. He looked in control, right? And he was launching threes left and right, and that's exactly what I want to see. Biggest thing for me is that I thought I could trust him at the point guard, or at least handle the ball a lot more in this one, which is something that I want to see more of with Kobe. Like, even if you're going to be a guy coming off the bench to be that spark plug, you got to be able to handle the ball effectively, right? And with Kobe, I feel like his handling, while it has improved, I feel like there's a lot of moments still where it's like we still see a little bit of shakiness with him, and his decision making kind of, isn't exactly the greatest. So I thought both his handling and his decision making tonight was fantastic. And so if we can continue to get this right from Kobe, if the Bulls decide to hit that rebuild button, I would like to keep him around for sure. But I don't know exactly what the Bulls are thinking. I know Kobe is looking for a pretty decent payday, but if he's able to do this, then this obviously brings a ton of value. But I don't know exactly if the Bulls are going to be hitting that rebuild button or not. So, this is it for Kobe, then, that's it. But I do like what I'm seeing a lot more. So hopefully down the stretch he can really ball out and do a lot more, right? Let's see here. In the 84 draft, the Blazers wanted to trade Drexler plus their first round pick for Ralph Sampson and Rockets Klein. Imagine an MJ Hakeem Drexler lineup. yeah, that would have been something, right? Yeah, Ralph Sampson. Wow, that's a name I haven't heard in a bit. Obviously, I'm in college, so I don't really know much of the '80s players, but I do know Ralph Sampson. Yeah, this shows you though, things change, right? And decisions are made that aren't exactly the greatest. Yeah. That would have been one ridiculous lineup. If I ever got to see Michael Jordan play with Hakeem Olajuwon, whew, that would have been amazing. Obviously, they couldn't do it on the Team USA basketball because Hakeem is not from here. But yeah, that would have been something to watch. No one's scoring on that team. Yeah. At the end of the day, also I want to talk about this. I'm aware that Zach LaVine is going to get all the hate. The Bulls lost another game. They blew another lead. I don't really know what Bulls fans want. This, to me, was a damn good game from Zach. Okay, he had 2 early turnovers. He didn't turn over the rest of the game. Okay, he had 11 rebounds. He had 7 assists. Okay, and the dude put up 35 points on 23 shots and was consistently scoring in every single quarter. Right? It wasn't like he put up a bunch of points one quarter and then disappear in other quarters, which we've seen before from him this season. Like, he consistently scored in every single quarter tonight. And he hit some big shots. So, you know, Bulls fans at the end of the day are always going to be like, wow, Zach, you suck for that last shot, yada, 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 yada. Like, again, to me, that last shot, I truly do not give a crap what you think. To me, Zach's got to shoot it at the end of the day because clock was running down. But, you know, obviously, I wanted to see obviously a better shot. But he tried to drive twice. Drive wasn't there twice. It happens, okay? And to me, that was honestly the best shot the Bulls could have gotten off with 4 seconds left to go. You live with it. But everything else in this game, in my opinion, was just phenomenal. So if you want Zach gone and you want the rebuild to start, right, this is what you want. The dude has, like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Zach's been like the only guy that has been showing up in these past couple of games, right? He's like the only dude that is actually like being like showing up to play. And I always find it interesting that it's like we don't really blame DeMar when I feel like DeMar is like actually having a bad game, right? But we always just want to blame Zach. So again, if you want Zach gone, that's your opinion. But let's see here. We're in February now. So in the month of February, he's averaging 25 points per game and has a plus 6.5 rating. Okay. His true shooting percentage is at 64%. His 3-point percentage is definitely lower than usual, but he's shooting 52% from the field. I mean, it's solid, man. It's very solid stuff that we're seeing from him recently. And then here, I don't know how I can do it in like the past. I'll just bring up the game logs for him. But in these past few games, right, we're seeing 26, 23, 38, 24, 20, 36. Like, this is some really good stuff here. Okay, like right here, this is really solid, right? So at the end of the day, Bulls fans are always gonna be pissed, but you know, I'm not here to talk about that. Obviously, we have to add a 35-pointer after this one, is, you know, Basketball Reference isn't up to date. So yeah, I don't know, man. Here we are now in 2023 watching Chicago play 90s basketball. Yeah. Should have at least had 60 points and 70%, 20 rebounds, 15 assists, and defend it like prime MJ with while clutch shooting and after shot to lead us to victories. And max player, duh. Yeah. That is the Chicago media, which, you know, Zach has already come out and said, like, he's not gonna let that bother him whatsoever. All right. Let's look at this, okay? I'm going to go now towards the plays that, in my opinion, were problematic down the stretch, okay? This is where, in my opinion, we saw a lot of things go wrong for this Bulls team, where things just, it's just decision-making, and it's not the players' decision-making, it's the coaching, okay? Let's watch this, guys, okay? This to me is when the Bulls lost the game officially, okay? We decided to post up Vooch with 3:03 left to go. We had a lead. We had a 6-point lead. It's down to 3 suddenly. Let's post up Vucevic because that's exactly what everyone wants to do. I truly don't understand it. I will never get it. Okay, look, this is what happens. Okay, the Indiana Pacers, they're so okay with Vucevic posting up that they have Aaron Nesmith guarding Nikola Vucevic. Okay. They don't want Miles Turner to guard Vucevic because they want Miles Turner to be just hounding the paint to come in for the shot block, right? They want Miles Turner to be in help position so he can come over and block the shot. So they're putting Aaron Nesmith on Nikola Vucevic. They're willing to take this bet, Okay, they want the Bulls to post up Vucevic. Okay, and if you're not aware of this, like this was happening this entire fourth quarter. By the way, I don't know why people didn't see this, but like this is what Rick Carlisle was basically begging the Bulls to do. So you throw it, you see here, it's like, oh, well, if Vucevic should have thrown it back out to here. No, he couldn't have, because Buddy Hield's here. Okay, you saw that Miles Turner, he's just kind of playing free safety. He just kind of is circling the paint. He then comes on down when he thinks Vucevic is about to make this move. Right, Caruso is then here baseline. This pass to Io is not available. Okay, this pass right here, it's not available whatsoever. So that's not an option. And obviously Zach's not in position. Right, this was a shot. Right, and sure, Vooch can make this. I'm not here to say that Vooch can't make this. I'm just here to say that this is analytically one of the worst shots ever. Okay? You don't want the shot. And in the end, the Bulls took the shot, and the Bulls missed it. Vucevic can score over Aaron Nesmith, who is a guard. That's how it goes, man. This is the reason why I'm sick and tired of it. I don't want to see this anymore. So that happened, right? Let's see here. I wanted to... I'm at the wrong thing. Yeah, here we go. Going back. There was another one that I was like, right, that didn't look very good. I think it was it Ayo Dosunmu's? I think it was this. Yeah. Okay, another post up, guys. Everyone says, well, if you post up Vooch, he's gonna get doubled so that he's gonna be able to find an open guy. Again, this is the reason why you don't post up in today's NBA, because you're gonna see that this Pacers team, they're able to recover on a Vucevic post up. So they're willing to double team Vooch, but then there's nowhere for Vooch to pass it to be like, that's a wide open look, right? So here we go. Vooch is double currently. Okay. Miles Turner came over to double Vucevic again. Aaron Nesmith is the main man on Vucevic. They double Vucevic. Okay. The ball is then. Vooch is then pushed out here, and then he throws the ball back over here to Kobe White. Okay? Now, if you're going to be like, well, if you swing it, right, throw it to Zach, then throw it to Io, this should be an open three-point shot. I'm telling you right now, that's not the case. If he swings it to Zach, or even just throws it to Io in this situation, okay? Look what happens, right? Tyrese Halliburton is able to then just run out to Ayo Dosunmu, which they'd probably let him shoot the three anyway because he's not that great of a three-point shooter. Alex Caruso is then guarded by Aaron Nesmith then, and Miles Turner is on Nikola Vucevic. This does nothing. This legit creates nothing. And again, everyone's saying, well, if you double team Vooch, you get an open shot. No, you don't. Look what happens. They double team Vooch, there's no open shot. I don't know why this is something that everyone's like, oh yeah, this is supposed to work. Okay, so you throw it to Ayo Dosunmu. Look, Tyrese Halliburton is back. Okay, this is exactly what the Pacers want. Okay, Aaron Nesmith, you're now guarding Caruso. Miles Turner, you're guarding Nikola Vucevic. It got nowhere. This possession gets nowhere. Ayo then has to drive. He then misses this shot, and then the Bulls get the offensive rebound. Thank God they did, because guess what they decided to do after posting up Vucevic getting nowhere? Okay, look what they decided to do. They decided to throw it back out to Vucevic for an open three-point shot. Oh, that didn't go. That went away. But basically, though, after Ayo Dosunmu missed it off of a Vucevic post-up, this is what happens. Vucevic decides to take an open three-point shot, and the Bulls score 3 points. And right at this moment, guess what I decided to tweet? Threes are better than post-ups. Okay? This is the reason why I don't want to see any more post-ups. None. I truly don't want to see any more. The Bulls got nowhere in this possession. And all I keep hearing on the post-game is the Bulls stop going to Vucevic down the stretch and give him the ball on the post, etc., etc. This is 3:41. This is crunch time. We're up by 3 points. This is a big moment. We're not even up by 3 points. What are we? Are we tied? I don't even know what we're at this point. Either way, it's crunch time. Okay, it's crunch time, and we give the ball to Vucevic in the post. Exactly what all these people want, and you got nowhere. You got nothing on this possession. Okay, hey, if you want to argue with me that Ayo shot was fine, that's not a shot that I want Ayo Dosunmu taking. Okay, that's a floating shot. It's from 8 feet away, and Ayo isn't necessarily a guy that I'm looking to have him shoot a running floater shot in crunch time. I want to see Ayo Dosunmu shoot the ball instead of him decide to run it in for a little floater. Okay, and also, by the way, hey, we're facing a team with Miles Turner. Okay, the Pacers want you to drive. They legit see that they have one of the best shot blockers in the league. Miles Turner's right there. You're gonna drive a Miles Turner? Is that what you're gonna do? You're not gonna get anywhere. Sorry. Let's see here. It's bad. It's a bad play. You're wasting so much time, so Vooch can back down his opponent slowly while every other player is just covered. I wouldn't look for a post play unless the guy that posts is already deep into position / mismatch. So yeah, I agree with you, and I'll show you a possession where that does happen, which I'm like, okay, I can kind of live with it, but I still don't like it. Only time I'm posting if there's a mismatch. That was a mismatch, by the way. Magugla, like that was a mismatch. Again, Vooch had Aaron Nesmith on him, and that's intentionally what the Pacers want. They intentionally want Aaron Nesmith on Nikola Vucevic, right? That's a mismatch, sure. But as I showed you guys, like even if there is a mismatch, the NBA in today's world, you're able to recover quickly. You're able to get back and recover very quickly. That it does not matter if there's a mismatch. So you're gonna double team the mismatch, right? So Vooch has Aaron Nesmith. You bring over Miles Turner. Well, once you do that and get the ball out of Vooch's hands, the defense is able to recover quickly. So at the end of the day, this doesn't work, right? So sure, there's a mismatch, but all you have to do is double. You're fine, right? That's just how it works. Yeah, I thought it was Jalen Smith guarding Vooch that play. No, it wasn't Jalen Smith. Look, this was Aaron Nesmith. Okay, look, that's Aaron Nesmith. That's 23, right? That's Aaron Nesmith. See? Right? Start of the play, Aaron Nesmith. Right? I'm saying mismatch. I'm talking having him deep down under already. Not too soon post up and start doing it. Boom, 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 under pass score. No, is it box? I forget how to say it. I'm so sorry. Is it box? But yeah, I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. Like if Vooch has the mismatch and like the dude is right under the basket, yeah, give it to Vooch. He can just go ahead and just lay it right in. He doesn't have to take a dribble, right? That to me though is not even a post up. That's just straight up. You sealed your man, and that dude is just he's helpless, right? Yeah, that to me is for sure. That's when you go ahead and post up in a sense. But at the end of the day, though, it's a different spot on the floor, right? Because like when we talk about post up, right, we're talking about the low block, right? This we're talking about right here. But what you're talking about, box, is like right here, right? He's like in the middle of the semicircle, and the guy he has sealed has no chance to do whatsoever except for foul him, right? Yeah, but at the end of the day, though, we're talking at two different spots on the floor. Because right here, it is very difficult to double team right here because that's so deep inside that if you actually do double, then that's going to open up an actual open shot. But there's a difference between here, right, than here, okay? If you're here and you have a mismatch, the double's coming, right? And the defense is able to able to work around it and force you out of this position, right? And then you're not going to get a good shot out of it. So this is the reason why I'm like, I'm very concerned hearing that Bulls fans continue to want the post. Or I guess I shouldn't say all Bulls, just the analysts that I listen to consistently, like, let's post up Vooch. This is what's going to happen. I truly wonder what they're watching because it's straight up backwards what they're saying, right? It's completely wrong. I don't know what they're looking at, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Now, I'm going to show you a play where a post-up does actually result in a three-point shot, okay? Now, because I'm aware that sometimes it's actually, like, you see things actually work out right, but I'm going to tell you why things worked in this play, right? So, here's a post-up for Nikola Vucevic on this possession, which, again, I hate, okay? To me, this makes no sense. But here we go. This is Jalen Smith now guarding him, okay? So, here you go, Magugla. Now, you see here, this is, in my opinion, this is where the Pacers did everything wrong, okay? The Pacers in this possession, they decided neither to play this straight up, and they decided not to double team, right? So the Pacers already, they made this play bad. This is on them, okay? And so Vooch sees this right here, because I don't even know who this is. Is this TJ McConnell? But he sees Io is open, and he will cutting hard here, takes away Bennedict Mathurin. And see here, the issue is this guy right here doesn't need to cheat over, right? all he has to do is just stay in here, and then when P-Will cuts, Benedict Mathurin comes over, right? That's fine. So the Pacers, they screw this up. So Vooch is going to throw it over to Io, okay? And then you see the rotations happen. But yet again, you see that everything's wrong on this play by the Pacers, okay? Io catches it here. You saw that Chris Duarte, who's guarding Kobe, he runs over to guard Io, okay? And as Duarte is running over, you see that no one covers Kobe, right? So this play is not about the Bulls creating an open shot. This is about the Pacers just breaking down defensively. Because what should happen here is that Aaron Nesmith then should be coming over to guard Kobe, and then someone, either TJ McConnell or Benedict Mathurin, should be running back out to Zach, right? That's the rotation. But instead, though, we see no rotation happen. You see that Aaron Nesmith is late, right? And you see TJ McConnell is also just late, right? And then Kobe White, because of that, is able to get a three-point shot, right? So everyone's like, oh, see, post up Vooch more, it works. No, it doesn't. This is all set up because TJ McConnell here is not paying attention, right? So if McConnell just stays on Io, this gets nowhere. Just saying, like this possession gets nowhere unless it's Vooch taking it himself to go and score. Which to me, this is not even a mismatch, by the way. Like this him against Jason Smith is not a mismatch. Sorry, I just want to make sure if I didn't know if the music stopped. Okay, we're still good. So again, this to me makes no sense whatsoever for you to suddenly claim, oh look, it worked, guys. See, it worked. No, it didn't, right? To me, the Pacers, it's either you just play this straight up, or TJ McConnell comes baseline, or Aaron Nesmith comes top side, right? You double team from one of these two guys, and if you double team, you see how the rotations work, right? Because if it's Aaron Nesmith, for example, like I'll just break this down. If Aaron Nesmith comes down to double team, Duarte covers Zach, Benedict Mathurin covers Kobe, and then TJ McConnell covers Patrick Williams, right? And then if the ball gets thrown back out, which is the plan, then Nesmith then comes over and takes Ayo Dosunmu. We've seen this happen multiple times, okay? This happens all the time. And the Bulls have done this too. So I don't know why the Pacers decided not to do this correctly, but they failed, right? They did. It looks like they're trying to play it straight up. They didn't. And so then TJ McConnell cheats, screws up. Here comes the pass, right? Throw it over. Chris Duarte moves over. Well, there's no rotation after that, right? But yet again, I'm just trying to show you that the rotations just weren't there. That's the reason the Bulls get this. If the rotations were there, they get nothing out of this. Unless it's a drive, right? So yeah. If Embiid isn't doing it enough / posting up, then you know Vooch shouldn't be doing it nearly as much. Do we even have an analytics team? Well, yeah. So, Box, yeah. That also is a big issue, right? Joel Embiid posts up, like I brought up multiple times. Joel Embiid posts up less than Nikola Vucevic, right? He isolates a lot more. But also, as you said, I don't think the Bulls have an analytics team, and it's also similar to how the Chicago White Sox don't have an analytics team for them either, right? If you look at opposing teams in baseball, Houston Astros, for example, they have a team that they release every single season that is just labeled analytics team, and it is full of people, right? The White Sox don't have that. So because this is also a Jerry Reinsdorf run organization, I won't be shocked to see if this is if it's very similar for the Chicago Bulls, where they don't have an analytics team, right? And hence then we see this happening, and we see things all going south. Now, one guy that I've been known of is Chris Fleming, who's right here. He's been known to be a good guy with the analytics because he was on the Brooklyn Nets when D'Lo was there. Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, like that fun team, right? That team was full of analytic shooters, right? It was just analytics everywhere, and it worked out well for them, right? But he's the associate head coach, but I don't know how much reign he actually has, right? It seems like Billy Donovan has legit all the power in this scenario, and this is the result we're getting, right? So yeah, if you want to say, look, Duncan, it worked, fine. You know what? Take this, sure, but at the end of the day, I am not happy with this whatsoever. And I'm happy we got that, but yeah, truly just not a fan of it. Let's see here. I did see one more. So just so you know, I'm not just like picking out plays where it favors me, right? Here's another play where it ends up working. Or no, this is not even a post up. This is a pick and roll. Okay, so again, just so other people don't get this confused. If Vucevic posts up because of off a pick and roll, that's much different than just straight up posting up. Like, this is a handoff play to get Zach coming off a screen set by Vooch, right? And you see that two go towards Zach, right? And Zach throws it down into the paint, right? And then Vooch just goes ahead and hooks it up and in. That's a pick and roll play. Okay, that's not a post up whatsoever. And I want to see more of this than to see the post up, because as you can see here, it is much harder to guard this. Not just because of Zach, it's just that you see where Vucevic gets into the lane here, right? To me, if you want to truly take advantage of Vucevic's size, he needs to be running this way, right? And getting the ball here, right? Because if he's in that middle of the floor, it is extremely hard to double team him then. And you see here, the Bulls with Zach. Zach does a great pass here. He gets the ball right here, right? Here comes Jalen Smith, right? Off of Patrick Williams, okay? But at this point, it's too late. Vooch can just go ahead and put it up and in. But if you post up, this isn't there, right? And if P. Will was in a better spot in a sense, like I guess it's either I want to see P. Will in the corner or I want to see P. Will a little bit more baseline. Then if Smith really came over and selled off of P. Will, then P. Will's open for a baseline dunk, right? But we see here that the spacing is a little bit too crowded, right? And Vooch is just going to be like, all right, I'm already here. Might as well just shoot it. I want to see more of that. Because at the end of the day, I want to see Vucevic scoring more than seeing him pass more, right? I don't want to see Vucevic looking to pass it all the time. He is very unselfish, but I see him pass it way too many times when I need to see this dude shoot the ball. Because he, right now, with no DeMar DeRozan, he's the second option, right? He's got to look to score it. I don't want to see him pass it, because at the end of the day, I trust Vucevic to score it more than I would assume or Patrick Williams to score it, right? Especially at the end of a game. So get more of this, right? I don't want to see the post ups though. I want to see the pick and roll that gets him in good inside position that allows him to go ahead and take advantage of his size immediately without having to go through the whole post up. One defensive lapse that won't be happening most of the times. TJ fell asleep. Oh, for sure. Yeah. You're talking about the other play box. Yeah. SlamDuncan, we actually shot threes tonight. Yeah, what's going on, Patrick? We did shoot threes tonight, but we shot 10 in the first quarter, and that was the most we ever shot. Hey, Patrick, look what happened in the first quarter. Okay? You want to see what happened in the first quarter? The Bulls scored 39 points in that first quarter. Want to know why? We shot 10 threes. We didn't shoot 10 threes in the quarter for the rest of the game. Okay? Makes sense. So, for all the people are like, wow, should have posted up Vucevic more. No, we should have shot more threes for the rest of the game. Okay. Let's see here. How many threes did the Bulls take? Oh no, we shot 12 in that fourth. Okay, I can live with it then. Yeah. And of course, those were the two best quarters of the day. Never mind. The fourth quarter was the second best or third best, but yeah, we shot 5 threes in that second quarter, and we sucked. Right? But what we also did from second quarter on was post up Vooch when it wasn't necessary, and it led to problems. Let's see here. I also want to show you one more. So this right here, this to me is where I want to see more of Vucevic. Okay.
58% of his points come from shots like we just saw, and he's got a couple.
Now, never mind. This is the one that Box was kind of talking about. So this isn't a mismatch, right? But you see where Vooch is. Okay, this isn't perfect, but Vooch basically sealed Miles Turner in this scenario. Like, he doesn't have to do anything; just go ahead and just dunk it, right? This is fine. I don't personally love it because this was a set play for a post up, but that's I can live with it because it didn't really end up at being a post up. It was just Miles Turner was sealed. I want to show there was a play in the third quarter, or no, sorry, was it the second quarter maybe, where Vooch came in and dunked it, and I was very happy when I saw it. Yeah, this was it. Okay, I want to see more of this with Vooch. Okay, pick and roll. Right, here we go. Pick and roll. For some reason, I don't know why, but Miles Turner jumped out on Io, which to me makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. That to me makes no sense. And they blitzed Io, kind of blitzed Io. I don't even know what to call this. I don't even know what to call this defense. It's a jump out, or a show. I guess it's a show, right? But I don't know why you're showing on Io to Sumu. That makes no sense whatsoever. You shouldn't be showing. So pick and roll then leads to Vucevic getting the ball and just go ahead and just dunk it like that. I want to see more of this, right? And even on that, I could see Vuce just kind of cutting harder to the basket initially without fading back to the three. But I'm not going to complain too hard because it got what I wanted. And then this play right here, like people are gonna be like complaining about this, but to me, this makes a lot. This play makes a lot of sense. So 8 seconds left to go on the shot clock, okay, and it's a one-on-one with Zach LaVine. It's an isolation, okay, and you see what starts to happen is that Benedict Mathurin comes off of Kobe White and starts to cheat on Zach so that Zach doesn't have room to drive. And this is where I'm like, okay, I am perfectly fine with either Zach trying to get around Tyrese here or he really collapses Benedict Mathurin and just throws it to Kobe, right? And we see here that Zach drives a second, makes Benedict Mathurin commit. Kobe can hit this shot. We've seen this so many times. It's a 30-footer, but everyone's like, oh, don't shoot 30-footers. It's, again, modern NBA. This is a good shot for Kobe. That is a very open look. Sure, it's from 30 feet, but to me, it makes no difference if it's from 26 feet or 30 feet. He can make that shot. That, to me, is a great shot. So I want to see more of that. We don't really see this, right? With this Bulls team, we don't typically see it. But if we do more of that, I think this Bulls team looks a lot better. And hence why we scored 113 points in this game instead of 89, right? We made 15 threes. That's obviously a big adjustment compared to the Magic game where we legit only scored 3 threes on 21 attempts. So, yeah, at the end of the day, we just got to understand, like, okay, what's actually happening here with this team. We shot 35 threes tonight compared to 21 against the Magic. We made 15 compared to 3 against the Magic, right? You score 113 points. You had a much better offensive performance. Unfortunately for you, though, the Indiana Pacers, they made 18 threes, and a lot of that, unfortunately, was you in the third quarter. Okay? This was Buddy Hield. In that third quarter, the dude just lit it up from 3-point range. He had 5 threes. The Pacers had 6 in that quarter. Bulls had only 4, right? And not only did they only have 4, the shot chart wasn't exactly amazing, and we started to see some post-ups, right? But overall, just it was all right in that third, but things could have been a little bit better, for sure. That's what happens. That's the reason why this Bulls team starts blowing leads, is because the other team goes on a 3-point barrage, and the Bulls instead respond with no 3-point shooting, right? Let's see here. Was it this play? There was a play that I also, in the third, I was very irked by. Maybe it was that. Maybe it was that one. What was this one?
Wide open in the center was my alternative. That's not Buddy's strength, I mean, frankly. It's just not.
Bro.
Now Drummond catches again.
Yeah, see, I won't talk about this, but you can't challenge Miles Turner at the rim. You just straight up can't. Don't do it. Let's see here. There was one more play I'm missing, but it is what it is. Yeah. So, that's the story of this game. I think I've exhausted this game to its fullest extent. And, I'm going to continue to do this until I see some serious change. A better step tonight. I do think that part of the reason why the Bulls look a lot better was because DeRozan isn't there to take a bulk of the shots from mid-range. I'm not saying that DeMar DeRozan is straight up the only problem with this team, but I do think he is part of the issue. So, there's that to kind of think about. But, yeah, better tonight, but not down the stretch. You straight up messed up down the stretch, and that needs to get better moving forward with this team. You think the only reason we shot a bunch of threes is because DeMar is out, and then when he's back, we'll go back to 5-22 type games? Yeah, I do think that if DeMar comes back, we're going to see the 3-point attempts dip again. He might play tomorrow, from what I'm hearing. I don't know if he will, though. We'll see. If Kobe's averaging 4 or 5 3-point attempts, I would like to see that number go up. I think he is one of the better shooters here. I would actually like to see him stay. No, I agree with you. Kobe White, I believe, is not even averaging 4. Let's see. Oh, he is averaging 4.5. Okay, yeah. That's lower than all of his other years. Obviously less minutes. But yeah, like, Kobe White, let's just do some comparisons. So, like, let's take Norman Powell, okay? I don't even know what Norman Powell's 3-point attempts are per game. It's at 4.8. Okay, so he's getting similar, a little bit more though, similar minutes to Kobe. Okay, he's averaging 26. Kobe's averaging 22. He's getting closer up to 5, and he's shooting 41% from 3-point range. Okay, so and Norman Powell, in my opinion, should be the 6th man of the year right now, right? So for a guy like Kobe, okay, like this is what I'm looking at. So get that 3-point attempts up per game. Obviously, it's not that big of a difference right now, but I would like to see it, start to move up a bit. But this is also what I'm kind of looking at here. Like, the shot chart is very good for Norman Powell. He obviously can hit the mid-range. Like, we see a little mid-range sprinkled here and there, but his shots come from 3 and from paint. Okay, at the rim, 140, 3 to 10, 118, 242 3-point attempts. From mid-range, very, very few, right? He only takes it when necessary. So this is how it should work, in my opinion. And I like this. With Kobe, he just needs to shoot more. I think he has that ability to do that. He should also have that freedom. I feel like some people will be upset if he doesn't shoot more, but overall, though, we're looking at a guy that has a lot less field goal attempts per game, right? And he shot 222 threes in a season. So, good. I can see this getting higher, though, for sure. And yeah, you see the field goal attempts per game are significantly lower. But I feel like in 22 minutes, you should be averaging more than 8 or 7 field goal attempts. He can get up to 10. I won't have an issue with it. So yeah, increase with the number of threes he takes, for sure. I have no issue with that whatsoever. All right. I need to respond to these tweets. I'm going to do that. I'm sure people are upset with me, and that's totally fine. Yeah, it is what it is. All right. A couple more things I want to talk about. This is another game where I'm like, okay, he could step up. No DeMar DeRozan. Didn't really step up in terms of offense. Defensively, I thought he had some good moments, but unfortunately benched at the end of the game yet again. Yeah, I'm starting to just get into that mode where I'm just accepting that Patrick Williams is he's not going to become that 20-point per game scorer that I think he can become. I just want to get to that point now, just so I'm not disappointed later. So I'm just going to kind of leave that expectation there. Again, I don't think it should be necessarily if we rebuild, everyone's like, oh, it's his team now. I don't think that should be the case. I don't think it should be anybody's team. What if we rebuild? I feel like it should be, let's see who becomes the best, and then we'll decide from there. But yeah, I want to see more from him. I just don't know. It's to the point now where I'm starting to really get concerned because I'm seeing a lot of these games where he puts up 10 shots, right? But he puts up 11 points, and I'm like, I need to see games where you put up 15 shots and you give me 18 points. Right? Yeah. So Unstoppable. How you doing? You got your Dale and Terry minutes. How'd you like them? I personally was, I like Terry's defense, but that shot, man, that shot is that shot is seriously an issue that we gotta look at, and hopefully he'll figure it out. But we discussed a lot of Dale and Terry earlier in the stream. Obviously his potential, in my opinion, is very high, but yeah, that shot, man. That shot needs to get seriously worked out. And if he can ever work out that shot, man, I'm looking at a very quality type all-star type player. But I don't know, man. I'm hoping that he goes into the offseason and works with Dirk Nowitzki, shooting coach, or just a very good shooting coach, and then we can move on from there. But yeah, you got your Dale Terry minutes that you've been calling for. Don't know how you feel about it, though. I wasn't necessarily too blown away by it, but I like his defense a lot. that dude can show me that he can defend 1 through 4 easily, and I'm looking forward to that in the future. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. I want to talk about a couple things on the Pacers side, and then I want to talk about a few things around the league, and then I want to talk about then I want to end it around there. So we got a few more things I want to talk about here. So Pacers, I thought, in my opinion, Tyrese Halliburton did not have that great of a game. I thought that he was kind of in slow motion. I don't know how many games he's back from injury, but I don't know, just seemed kind of slow. DJ McConnell also did not have that great of a game. He was killing the Bulls in previous games. But in the end, a guy like Buddy Hield, who can just launch threes, shot 10, is going to kill you if he gets those open looks. And that's what the Bulls gave up to him. He had 27, not a shocker. Aaron Nesmith is a shooter, was 4 for 9, had 21. Okay? These guys that aren't, big, like, they're not main options of an offense, right? This is how it works, right? They just launch threes. They're not main points of the offense. They may be starters, but this is what they do. Okay, and I like seeing these types of guys, on other teams. Chris Duarte, 4 for 7, right? Launch threes, 14 points. Okay. Now, what I think is important to note here is that Rick Carlisle isn't necessarily like a new coach, right? I think that Rick Carlisle, we know, isn't. He's not a new coach, but he's a guy that has been willing to adjust in today's era, right? We saw a lot in Dallas that Rick Carlisle would run these like 2-point guard lineups. That was kind of like, why would you run like 2 small guards out there? They don't have defense. They lack dribble penetration, but it's the reason why is because you have shooters out there, and he trusted his shooters to be out there. Even if he was giving up size. We see lineups where we don't see a lot of size with this Pacers team, right? I like Jalen Smith, but he's not that big. But then we even see when Miles Turner's off the floor that we'll see like Isaiah Jackson playing the center. Isaiah Jackson's pretty small, right? And I'm not saying in terms of height, just in terms of size, right? So we see here that Rick Carlisle, who won a championship in 2011, okay, he's willing to adjust. Like, he's straight up willing to change his scheme to adjust to the modern day NBA. Okay. This is how it's supposed to work. And so with Billy Donovan, I need to see him start adjusting to the modern day game. I thought in OKC, we didn't really see that too much. We saw a lot of mid-range in OKC as well. We didn't really see a lot of post-ups, I would say. But there was a lot of mid-range. Okay. I think that this is something that I'm going to be looking at as Billy Donovan continues his career here, which we all know it's going to happen, unfortunately, unless the Bulls rebuild, right? Which is a possibility, but I just expect Billy to be here. So Billy needs to take this offseason coming up and legit change his game. If he doesn't do that, I am sorry to say, Bulls fans, I don't think this team is going anywhere. And I'll be here to continue to say that. But I need to see some serious change for me as a Bulls fan to start having hope again that this team is going to start moving forward in the right direction. Okay, management can make all the moves they want. Like, I don't give a damn of what management does. If Billy Donovan's going to continue to be here and run this 90s style of offense, like, it's going to continue to be an issue. I would hope that management understands this and is going to start talking to him, 1, but then 2, start fixing the roster so that we're not relying on a 90s or 2000s play style, okay? So get rid of Vooch, okay? Or change Vooch to not shoot post-ups or not run post-ups, okay? It's very possible. I can see Vooch working in this modern day game. You don't have to run post-ups for him. And I hope that we see them start focusing on getting some of these guys that can legit just launch threes at will. There's going to be guys that I think are going to be good 3-point shooters available that are going to be out there for cheap. So whether you want the rebuild or you want the retool, there's guys out there. And I'm going to say this too. I personally think that the way that AK and Mark Eversley have drafted, again, we can't really start grading their draft history yet because it's too early. But to me, these guys that they're drafting, Patrick Williams, Ayo Dosunmu, and Dalen Terry, they're right for the modern day, right? They're guys that can play multiple positions. They can all handle the ball. They can play defensively, right? It's all about their shot, right? It's all about their three-point shot. And P. Will has already taken to the step where he's like basically a 40% three-point shooter, okay? So the shot's coming along for P. Will already. Obviously, we know what he can do defensively, okay? So he's down to 39% now, which is, again, great. With Ayo, obviously, he needs to work on his shot. With Dalen Terry, his shot needs to seriously get worked out. But if those shots get worked out, they're perfect for the modern day. So I like where that's going. I like where the draft so far has gone with the front office. But the other moves, that's got to get better. Okay? I know people didn't want the Danilo Gallinari move. I was actually a fan of it because of the shooting that he would bring. I know people didn't want it, though, because defensively he's bad. But to me, he made a lot of sense. He just decided to choose the Celtics. Unfortunately, he tore his, ACL, meniscus, I don't know what it was. But, yeah, we need to start accepting some of these guys that aren't necessarily the best defenders, right? But they're really good three-point shooters. Because this team defensively, yet again, is looking all right. Okay? Defensive rating, tied for 7th. It is what it is. So let's start accepting some of these guys that fit the modern day a little bit more. Pray the Bulls can win a championship post-Jordan era. I pray too. I don't think it's coming anytime soon, though. Random thought, sorry. I want to saw my ears out every time it says broadcast, push it, and play through Vooch in the post. Yeah, so do I. I'm almost getting to the point where I want to mute the Bulls broadcast. I don't want to do that because it really takes away the sound of the game. But yeah, Stacey King is really starting to get me upset with some of the stuff that he's saying. Again, I love him. I love what he does. But yeah, I'm not afraid to call out anybody, including Stacey King, who I love. So yeah, that's got to change. But Stacey's going to be here too, so I don't expect that to change anytime soon. And luckily, he's not the one affecting the coaching for this team. But unfortunately, the coach agrees with him with whatever he says. All right, let's talk around the league, guys. I want to hear your thoughts on what's going on around the league. Because in my opinion, the first thing I want to talk about is Milwaukee Bucks, man. I know they just had a very scary win against the Celtics, who did not have Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. But they're on an 11-game winning streak, okay? Obviously, the last 11-game winning streak was when we saw the Brooklyn Nets before they traded Kevin Durant and Kyrie. They were just going off, right? But we just saw the Milwaukee Bucks go on a 11-game winning streak. And Giannis is putting up numbers that we haven't seen since Wilt Chamberlain, okay? The dude is putting up 37 points per game in the last 10. It's ridiculous, okay? Now, I do think as of this moment, my MVP is still Jokic, but Giannis has closed that gap considerably, very, very considerably, especially the way the Bucks are playing recently. And his numbers, oh my God, they're insane. So just keep that in mind as we move forward, because my God, is Giannis just going off, and I like seeing it. So that's happening right now. I did see you, Cook Alert, say Bridges dropped 40. Yeah, Bridges dropped 40 points. This is one of my biggest things that I was looking at with Mikal Bridges, is if when he gets when he's going to be in this role, right, is he going to be able to take that next step to become a bigger scoring option? Because when Devin Booker went out, he stepped up tremendously for the Phoenix Suns. He legit was one of the key options for Phoenix, because Chris Paul, we know, isn't going to be that guy anymore in terms of scoring. He can obviously play make, but his scoring days are over, right? Or his takeover days are over, I should say. Mikal Bridges was being basically either that one or two option with Booker out, and so suddenly, he gets traded and is on a team which I don't even necessarily know who's the guy on this team, right? Ben Simmons is a dude that I think people kind of want to see, but that dude is not going to figure it out anytime soon, in my opinion. And kind of a very game from him tonight. I think Spencer Dinwiddie obviously is a guy that we all kind of look at. It's okay, he can obviously go ahead and get you 20. Spencer Dinwiddie, honestly, he's actually one of the best one-on-one players in the league in terms of the numbers, but he's taken like a big step back since coming to Brooklyn. Like he's not shooting as much. So if he's not going to be the guy, then is it Cam Johnson? Is it Cam Thomas, who's now suddenly come off the bench and he's, been all right coming off the bench, right? But Mikal Bridges can be that guy in Brooklyn for now. Obviously, he shouldn't be the guy on a championship caliber team, but if he can show you that he can legit be a second option, that's huge, right? I think that's more than what Brooklyn even wanted in getting Mikal Bridges. So I think this is huge. He had a fantastic game tonight. If he can continue to do this, it's even better. But I don't know. I don't really see that happening for him moving forward, but I can definitely see his scoring average going up for the rest of this season. Already a career high in terms of points per game for him, I believe. But yeah, moving forward though, I mean, if he can get that points per game up to 20, like I would be very, very intrigued moving forward with him. Let's see here. Regular season. So in total, we're looking at 17.6. Last season was 17.2. So it was already a very solid year last year, right? But since he got to Brooklyn, he's averaging 25. So, yeah. My thoughts. Playoffs will be super exciting. I agree. I am looking forward to the playoffs. And just as an NBA fan, like the playoffs, in my opinion, are going to be fantastic this year. Hopefully, don't let me down. Ben Simmons stat line. Oh, my God. Yeah. I don't want like Ben Simmons just pisses me off so much. And look, man, I understand that he is probably going through some stuff mentally. If he is still depressed or if he's still having some mental troubles, I hope he fixes it or he gets it worked out. I know they're not easy, but yeah, I just don't like the way he's talking, and I don't like the way he acts like as if everything's supposed to go around him. Jacque Vaughn is done with him. It's very clear that he's done with him. So I see the Brooklyn Nets trying to move him. I think he has no trade value. So yeah, it is what it is. Sorry, I forgot. Did the Bucks pick up anyone new? The Bucks picked up Jay Crowder at the trade deadline. And this was very interesting in my opinion. I did not like this move. Personally, they traded 5 second-round picks for Jay Crowder. He is not there yet, so I don't know what... Oh, yeah. Wasn't that part of the whole, Gary Payton and that whole thing, that trade that did not go through until Sunday night or something like that? So I don't know when that's going to ever show up here, but that was their only move. They traded Serge Ibaka to the Pacers. They traded Jordan Nwora to the Pacers as well. But yeah, I think that was the only move. To me, the biggest thing for me this season is that Drew Holiday has looked like a legit second option, right? Drew Holiday, him becoming that second option because Chris Middleton, I don't really know what I'm going to get from Chris Middleton moving forward. I'm aware that obviously Chris Middleton is supposed to be that second guy, but he's been so up and down this season. He's also been injured this season. He's played 17 games this year. I don't know what we're going to get from him. So it would be huge if he can play the rest of this stretch, consecutively and not sit out games. But the biggest thing for me is that Drew Holiday is, in my opinion, for sure all-star this season. The dude has been fantastic, and he's averaging 19.5 points per game. That's been his highest since New Orleans in 2018-19, and obviously, that was his career high. So this is his second career high so far in his career. That's huge, right? If Drew Holiday can be this, then the Bucks can for sure go all the way, for sure. And I'm even saying that against a Phoenix Suns team that just got KD. So it's going to be a lot on, one, can the Phoenix Suns get their chemistry all together? But two, can Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton raise their level of play? Drew Holiday's doing it, but Chris Middleton, I don't know yet. So with Drew Holiday doing this, if Chris Middleton comes along, yeah, Bucks have a shot for sure. And then I would even have them coming out of the East if that was the case. But I don't know about Chris Middleton right now. That's my biggest concern. And I truly question if he's ever going to get right this season. And oh my God, if the Bucks don't, if they're not able to win the East and Drew Holiday's having this type of a year, and not to mention Giannis is just putting up ridiculous stat lines recently. I mean, this dude's averaging 32.5 points per game. That's a career high. This dude is just insane when it comes to recent stats. It is just nuts with what he's doing. But yeah, if the Bucks don't come out of the East, and it's because Chris Middleton, unfortunately, just wasn't right, that's a big L. that's gonna hurt. I'm not saying that they're not like there's no chance they could ever come back. I think that the Bucks could, come back the next year, obviously, but you kind of want to win it all this year because of how well Giannis and how they're playing. So yeah, he's just getting back to game shape, I think. Yeah, this is the reason why I didn't like the Jay Crowder trade, because he hasn't played all season. He's gonna come in all pissed. And then he's not in game shape. It's going to take him a while to get back into game shape. And he obviously didn't suffer an injury like Zach did, right? But we saw how long it took Zach to, officially get back to 100%. So with Jay Crowder, he's not a star, so it's not going to affect him as much. But I do question how long it's going to take for him to get back into game shape. And look, man, we're in the middle of February right now. So it's not like there's a lot of time remaining. He has to, in my opinion, play all of March without sitting out, and then, hopefully he's good by April. Yeah. Dan Bridges dropped 45 tonight. Alicia Brooklyn away from Booker. I brought it up. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Bridges can become that scoring option, right? There is no true scoring option on Brooklyn right now. Sorry, my nose is just really stuffed. But if Bridges can become like that second, or if he can show you that he can be a second option on a team, oh yeah, that's fantastic, right? Sorry, blowing my nose here. Not sure how the Miami Heat lost this one. Honestly, they shouldn't have. But yeah, I mean, I think this just at the end should show you that the Brooklyn Nets, they're not out of it, right? They're not out of the playoff race. Like, I do think that they're going to make the play-in at the very least. And honestly, if the Knicks and the Heat can't get it together, right, they could, make the 6th seed, right? I don't think the Hawks are reaching them at this point. So, yeah, I'd be very interested to see if Brooklyn stays in the top 6. But yeah, I'm going to be watching them for sure because they all of a sudden, with all the moves, right? I think that... Sorry, I hate blowing my nose on stream. I think it's, it's not a pleasant look, but sorry, I'm having trouble talking right now. I think with Brooklyn, they're not going to stop being aggressive, okay? So, they just got rid of KD, they just got rid of Kyrie, right? Like, besides Simmons' contract, I don't see a bad contract on here, except maybe for Joe Harris, okay? Nick Claxton is, on a very cheap deal for what he brings, okay? Seth Curry is gone after next season. Like, Brooklyn, in my opinion, is going to be looking very solid moving forward. And suddenly now, they have some room to work with. They don't have cap space next offseason, unless obviously they trade Ben Simmons. But they have a lot of stuff to kind of work with. Now also with all those picks that they just obtained, right? They have a lot of things that they can kind of work through to kind of get this team back up and running. And potentially then, recruit a star to come on over. And obviously they're going to recruit a star that is a two-way player and not, only offensive oriented, because they just had 3 offensive guys and that didn't work out. So yeah, I think that Brooklyn's in a very solid position. Like, I can see them, packaging Joe Harris's, contract with Royce O'Neal's contract this offseason, and then suddenly they go out and get a star, right? I think that's a very big possibility because they have all of a sudden all these picks available. Yeah. Mikal Bridges and Nick Claxton, by the way, those 2 guys is a nightmare to face, right? Mikal Bridges is obviously, he was in Defensive Player of the Year conversations last season. And to me, Nick Claxton should be in Defensive Player of the Year conversations this season. Like, Nick Claxton has had a phenomenal year. I don't think people have recognized it. But yeah, I truly love what Brooklyn has done so far. I do think that they didn't get enough for KD in a sense, as I would have gotten for KD, but Mikal Bridges and 4 first-round picks and a pick swap is not bad either, and also Cam Johnson. So, yeah. Saw Cavs picked up Danny Green, and Samuel picked up Terrence Ross. Terrence Ross is going to Phoenix, Patrick. He's joining the bandwagon of that super team down there. That should work out. Not a bad thing, honestly. And I love that for Phoenix because their depth was just dead after that trade, and all of a sudden it looks a little bit better, right? I think Josh Hart is actually a pretty nice pickup for the Knicks. What did you mean? But I don't like the process of it. So I don't like the process of the whole Cam Reddish stuff for the New York Knicks because that, to me, the trade alone of trading Cam Reddish and Josh Hart, I don't have an issue with it. Okay, that to me is fine. Okay, what I have an issue with is that the New York Knicks, they traded a first round pick to get Cam Reddish, and then they traded a first round pick to get rid of Cam Reddish. Okay, that's my issue. That to me, that's just something I always look at, and it's like maybe I shouldn't look at that, but it's the same way I look at the Vucevic trade, right? The Bulls, no matter what they do from here on out, they lost the Vucevic trade. They saw a guy, they traded 2 first round picks for him. Forget Wendell, I don't even care about Wendell. Just the fact that they traded 2 first round picks for him is an L, okay? And so if you decide to then trade him for something else, like, sure, maybe let's say the Bulls traded Vucevic at the trade deadline, and just thinking about that trade separately, if the Bulls, they traded Vucevic for, let's just say, Jakob Poeltl, okay? Like, that is a win, in my opinion, okay? But the whole process of it all is that you traded 2 first-round picks to get Vooch to then get Jakob Poeltl. That's how I look at the whole process of it. I can't ignore it. To me, that's something I always look at, but I should probably ignore it because that's probably how you should look at things. What it's in the past is in the past. But no, I do agree that the Josh Hart trade for the Knicks is solid. It's very solid. The only thing I will say, though, is this. This is the only caveat I have with the New York Knicks with picking up Josh Hart. He's not under contract for next season. Right? He's not guaranteed to be on a contract, right? This is a player option, okay? It's non-guaranteed, okay? He's not guaranteed to come back, and he's also up for a payday. So you traded Cam Reddish and a protected first-round pick, which is it's going to Portland. That's going to convey, okay, for Josh Hart, who's not guaranteed to re-sign. I do think he re-signs, but there is a chance that he could not re-sign, and also he has that player option just to opt out and just, yeet out of there. So that's my only thing I'm a little bit concerned about, but other than that, that's all I'm looking at. Yeah. Only thing that's really out of trust for Brooklyn is Simmons. Yeah, that's yeah. I don't know why it seems like Finney Smith's shooting and defense has declined. So yeah, let's talk about Brooklyn a little bit more. So I don't know who would be willing to take on Ben Simmons' contract, but that's a contract that I'm looking at as like, okay, you can trade this contract to get a star. Okay, I don't know who's going to become available this upcoming off season, but I look at Ben Simmons' $37 million. I'm like, yikes, that's not ideal. So who's a star that is suddenly going to be disgruntled that could ask for a trade out and could suddenly just be on their way to Brooklyn and help suddenly rejuvenate this Brooklyn team that looks, obviously it's a problem. It's a problem that you traded KD and Kyrie, but things happen. So I always think of Damian Lillard. I just don't think that's ever going to happen. So yeah, I don't know who it is. Like, to me, everyone in this West here, like, they're all staying, right? Minnesota's not going to give up on Cat and Rudy Gobert suddenly. Pelicans, they're still trying to get Zion healthy. Dallas, they just got Kyrie. Clippers are staying at put. Phoenix, maybe Chris Paul goes, but you're not going to want Chris Paul. And then Sacramento, Sabonis and Fox, they're the 2 cornerstones over there. So to me, out west, no one's coming. So the only guy that comes to my head is Pascal Siakam, right? Like, if the Raptors truly decide they're gonna hit that rebuild button, Pascal Siakam would be the guy, right? That would be sent off, and honestly, kind of fits what Brooklyn wants, right? I don't see anyone else, trading any of their guys except maybe obviously the Bulls, but I feel like Brooklyn doesn't want Zach or DeRozan, right? And if they're gonna choose anybody, it'd be Zach. Right, so I don't know. I'd be very interested to see if they can figure this out. But they'd have to, for a Pascal Siakam deal, okay? So just so let's just do it. Let's just do this for reference. Like, we can't make any trades now, obviously, but we're just gonna make a trade as if the trade deadline was still available. For Pascal Siakam, obviously this and this works out. Okay. Okay, there you go. So these two guys obviously work out in terms of money. And then next in the offseason, it works in terms of money as well. Raptors don't accept this, of course. But what I'd be interested in is if the Brooklyn Nets throw in all their picks that they just obtained, which if we're not aware of the picks, okay. Let's just look at this for a second. Not that. Sorry, future GM NBA. Okay, hold on. Let me go find it. I need to. There you go. Here it is. So Brooklyn suddenly, right? They have all these picks that they can just suddenly use. So there's a whole bunch of things for this their pick for this season. So don't worry about that. But they have Phoenix's pick, right? 2024 goes to Houston, but then they have their own or Houston, right? And then they have another pick from OKC, I believe, or I don't even know how it works, but they have multiple picks in 2025 that they can go ahead and trade, and then another pick from Phoenix. Let me see here. NBA trade machine. I think Fanspo has it worked out well. That kind of shows like a little bit better gauge of what the picks we're working with here. So yeah. So this season they have pick from Phoenix and then a pick. It's a pick from either Houston or Philly. Okay. 2025 they have two picks. This one is Houston gets the right to swap, and then they have Phoenix. Okay. But then 2027 they have Phoenix, they have Phillies. Okay, and then this is their own, right? And then in 2028 they have Phoenix and then their own. 2029 they have Dallas, Phoenix, and then their own, right? So they have all these picks available that they can just go ahead and trade. If the Raptors decide to rebuild and then they're like, hey, we'll just take all those picks, do they accept it? I don't know. They might have to, they might have to sacrifice like a Cam Thomas or someone, but I feel like this would be kind of the only way it gets done. You're not trading Mikal Bridges. You're not trading Cam Johnson either. So if it's not going to involve Ben Simmons, then it would be like a Joe Harris, Cam Thomas, Royce O'Neal type stuff. I just feel like, this isn't much better. I guess it's better for the Raptors in a sense, but I don't know. It'd be hard to pull off. That's all I'll say. Yeah. I just like where Brooklyn's going. Like they recovered well. They decided not to full out tank. Obviously when you don't have your picks, you shouldn't tank, right? So yeah. Brooklyn has tons of capital for sure. So next offseason they don't have capital. As you can see here, they're going to be over the cap next offseason. And this is without re-signing Cam Johnson, not re-signing Yuta Watanabe, which they're not going to be able to. And then we'll see what they do with Seth Curry. So just in general, they're not going to have any cap space next offseason. Now they're out of the luxury tax though, so that's huge for them. But 2024 though, this to me is where things get interesting, right? This is it, right? They have $64 million in cap space. This is still with Ben Simmons on the roster, by the way, and still with Mikal Bridges. This is you lose Spencer Dinwiddie, Joe Harris, Nick Claxton. They can re-sign them over the cap, so don't worry about that. Royce O'Neal potentially, right? All these guys they can re-sign over the cap, by the way. And no one else that I think is important. I think Patty Mills is just gone. So yeah, they though in 2024 they're gonna have all the cap space in the world, right? Especially if they do that Ben Simmons contract, which I would honestly, what I would do if I was Brooklyn. I hate to be this guy, but Charlotte let's see how much cap space. So yeah, Charlotte has a crap ton of cap space for next season. Call up Charlotte, say, hey, you want Ben Simmons? We'll send you a pick as well. Just get him off the team. and maybe you get like a James Bouknight or something, or I don't know. Just get something in return. Just get Ben Simmons off. Oh, get maybe it's a sign and trade with and you get PJ Washington, Kelly Oubre in return as well. So another solid players in return. Doesn't have to match money because Hornets, they can just absorb Ben Simmons' contract. That's what I would do, but I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if Hornets would accept that, right? Brooklyn has tons of capital for sure. Yeah. One thought I thought about Ben Simmons' current contract. He's gonna stop playing basketball. What do you think? What do you think happens to Draymond after the season? So here's what I think is gonna happen with Draymond Green. Okay, I've written a paper about this, and I think I've shown this on stream before, but this is what we're looking at. Okay, now I'm gonna go split screen here. Okay. So bear with me. I know there's a lot on the screen right now, but I want to explain to you my whole thought process on Draymond Green, okay? Because to me, this is actually very important. Let's see here. We'll go on State. So to me, the Warriors have one of the hardest decisions ever coming up this offseason, okay? I don't know how far this Warriors team is going to get in the playoffs. They're still very scared. But I do question what exactly is going to be their whole decision making, especially if the Warriors don't make it far in the playoffs, which could potentially happen because Steph is injured. Are your papers free anywhere? I'll send this in the chat. I haven't updated this in forever, but this is my blog. And if you want part of the explanation, okay, you can go to here. Okay, this is part of the explanation for the Draymond Green situation. So, you want to check out my blog? That's where it is. I haven't updated it in months, though. That was for a class. Yeah. But I'm just going to explain this in person, okay? So, I'm basically explaining how much money the Warriors are going to have to be dealing with moving forward, okay? All right. So, for what's going to be projected for next season, okay? Let's just look at Golden State for this season. Let's just look at this first, okay? So Golden State this season, okay, they're at already $188 million, okay? Their luxury tax bill is already projected to be very high, okay? It is just straight up just ridiculous with how much money that they're already spending, okay? Yeah, it's truly high. If we want to just look a little bit better of a kind of like a year by year comparison for Golden State. I don't know why I did Golden State Warriors payroll. Okay, here we go. This is better. So they're at $190 million in payroll this season. Okay, now let's just put this in the calculator. Okay, the Warriors are in the repeater tax because they've been in the tax 3 of the 4 last seasons. So they're in the tax. So $190 million already for this season. Okay, we already know this, but just to do a comparison, we're looking at this much money. Okay, luxury tax threshold. I always forget. I believe it is it 123. I always forget what the luxury tax threshold is. The 150. 150 to 67. Okay, so basically the Warriors this season, I don't know why this goes blank. I truly apologize about that. But from this season, from their salary, they have to pay $178 million in taxes. So similarly, they say 162 here. It's not perfect, right? But going off of a Basketball Reference, this is how much they're at to pay. Okay, $178 million in taxes alone, just taxes. We're not talking about the team salary, just taxes. Okay. So their salary plus tax is $369 million. That's not fun for an owner, right? But the owner for the Warriors, Joe Lacob, has been very willing to pay this since the Warriors have won. So no biggie, okay? Now, next season for the Golden State Warriors, they're projected to be at $211 million, okay? Now, keep this in mind. $178 million, okay, is the current tax bill for the Warriors this season, okay? Which, by the way, they've set a new record this season for how much money they spent on the team at $190 million, okay? You know which record they broke? Their own. So they just keep going up in salary, okay? It's not like that this is, that they're shedding salary, okay? This continues to go up. Now, part of this that was a big thing was trading James Wiseman, because James Wiseman has basically saved them $138 million. But in my opinion, this still is relevant for next season, because they still have to make a big decision coming up here. So this article that I showed you guys, this is what James Wiseman on the team. Obviously, things have changed a little bit, but this still, in my opinion, matters. So this is the reason why that article, I can't use it anymore. But the luxury tax threshold for next season is going to be $162 million. It looks like it's flat. Yeah. That's at least projected. It's never going to be that usually, okay? But we're just going to roll with it, okay? For next season, okay, the Golden State Warriors, from what we're looking at here, from their projected salary with Draymond Green, okay, with the luxury tax that they're going to be looking at, their tax bill is going to be at $242 million, okay? That's ridiculous, right? And a part of that is because of the repeater tax. Now, if you add $211 million plus $242 million, we're looking at $454 million in salary plus tax, okay? That's insane. Like, have you ever heard of that before? Is that the payroll of a team is $454 million. Now, by the way, this is after the James Wiseman trade, because before the James Wiseman trade, it was supposed to be $483 million, okay? That was already high, right? So we're looking at that. Now, take Draymond Green's contract off of the Golden State Warriors for next season. So he's not gonna get a like a new contract, right? If anything, it's just he's either gonna accept the player option, right, or he's gonna decline it, okay? Or let's say even if he tries to get a new contract, it's gonna be like $30 million, okay? So let's just subtract. Let's just do like this right here of $27 million, okay? I did this backwards. Hold on. Sorry, this is a new number for me, so I can't just do this immediately. But okay, so this I can't do that, really? That sucks. Okay. We'll do 11. $685. I want to do that. 685, 897 minus. Let's see here. We're looking at for Draymond, it's 227 million. 27 586 225. Okay. Oh, that didn't even go through. Perfect. 27 586 225. I apologize. I know this is boring. Okay. So now we're looking at the Warriors for next season if they just don't re-sign Draymond. Okay. And just that, right? We're looking at $184 million. 184 million. 99,672 million dollars. Okay. Just all right. Keep in mind, right? We said 454 before. Okay. This just went away. Crap. Sorry, guys. All right. Keep in mind, 454 before. 454. Look how much this changes. Okay, they went from 454 to 259. Okay, this is how much just not re-signing Draymond and not doing anything with that money. That's how much money they say. That's basically $200 million. Okay, if they just don't re-sign Draymond, this is the difference. Okay, that tax bill went from in the 200s down to $74 million. Okay, now I don't know where Joe Lacob stands on this, because by comparison, I've also brought this up in my article. Okay, if you're not aware, the Golden State Warriors, they were bought for like 400 something million. Okay, it it wasn't even. I don't. What was it? No, sorry. What was it? Yeah, $450 million. The Warriors were bought in 2010 for $450 million. Okay, if we kept Draymond on that team, right? This was $454 million. So then the team payroll itself would have been more than how much Joe Lacob spent to buy the Warriors in 2010. So this is a serious decision they have to make here, right? I think if there's a season that, if the big three for the Warriors is healthy and they don't win the championship, it's this season because of Steph's injury. And I'm saying that Steph will be back. It's just that Steph, when he does come back, I don't know what he's going to look like. Draymond has actually had a pretty okay year. It's just that Klay Thompson has also declined, right? He's not really what he was, okay? So they have to make a serious decision here moving forward because they've committed to their next generation, right? They're fully committed moving forward with Jordan Poole, who just got paid a crap ton of money, okay? Jordan Poole got paid, Andrew Wiggins got paid, right? And we expect Jonathan Kuminga to stay here and also Moses Moody, okay? We expect these guys to stay here moving forward. I do think that Steph is not going to slow down anytime soon. Klay Thompson is still here, I believe, for this season and the season after, if I'm not mistaken. This, of course, won't load when I need it to. So, yeah, so next season is just his last year, right? So the upcoming decisions are going to be tough for the Warriors if they're going to move on from Klay and move on from Draymond potentially. I think Steph is just going to be fantastic from here on out. I know he's suffering injuries, but to me, I don't see Steph Curry slowing down. I know he's 34, but he's signed for the next 3 years. So Steph is here, okay? Like, I know people kind of looked at Jordan Poole as like potentially Steph's replacement, and I can kind of see that more down the line. I almost look at Jordan Poole as Klay Thompson's replacement because Jordan Poole will bring a lot more like a dynamic scoring guard next to Steph, and we've seen that Jordan Poole can easily play next to Steph, right? So that's something I'm like really looking at. I don't know what the Warriors do. I truly don't, right? I don't know what exactly they're thinking. And trading James Wiseman's kind of crazy. I understand why, because I think they just they don't really see that much potential in him. But, that must mean that you have full faith in Kevon Looney and Moses Moody, because once Steph goes, they need to figure out what to do, right? But if Draymond goes, if Klay goes, they're still a pretty damn good team. But obviously, with Draymond gone, they have a lot more wiggle room to work with. So I don't know, man. I truly don't know. If the Warriors somehow win a championship again, like, obviously you try to bring back Draymond. But I don't know if that's happening this season. I truly don't, right? I don't know what they're thinking, but that's a serious price because it's not just like, do we bring back Draymond for $30 million? You're asking, do we bring back Draymond Green because it costs us $200 million? That's what the actual question is, right? Is Draymond Green worth $200 million for this season, right? In 2023 and 24? I don't know. I truly don't. So the Warriors have sucked this year in many occasions, right? It's been a very up and down year. And also Steph being injured also really sucks. But this is what we're looking at. And I'll be very interested to see what they do. Sorry, I hit that. Hey, come on. There we go. So, Warriors, right now, they're 9th. They're 500 without Steph playing right now. They can easily move up. I'm not saying they can't. I don't know if they're winning it. And I don't know if they're coming out of the West this year, right? That's my biggest concern. Like, I can maybe see an argument if you come out of the West and lose in the finals that you bring back Draymond. But if you don't come out of the West, to me, it's move on. I would move on. Because there's a lot suddenly at play now where I need to see some of the young guys start playing, and they need to start preparing for the future. And they're going to continue to win because Steph is going to be there. But, yeah, I don't know. It'll be very interesting to watch. Warriors are worth $7 billion now. Yeah, that doesn't shock me. What are the Bulls worth now? I need to look at that. Warriors make $765 million in revenue a year. Jesus. Whew. That's almost twice as much as Laker paid to buy the team. Yeah. Warriors probably in the play-in this season. Not a good place if you're trying to go far in the playoffs. I agree. The thing is, though, is that if the Golden State Warriors somehow get matched up against Memphis first round, I would choose Memphis. Or sorry, I would choose Golden State. Right? Like, if that actually happens, like, I would choose Golden State if they have a healthy Steph. So it's like it's not out of the realm of possibility, right? Bulls are like 4th most valuable team, I think. Gotcha. Here's the thing, though. Like, if Golden State, like, it's very possible for Golden State to move up to the 4th seed, right? Or the 5th seed, right? And to me, it's not hard to get to the finals if you're a 4 or 5 seed. It's really not. Obviously, you have to go through the top seed, unfortunately, on your way there early than the conference finals. But even if Golden State is just a 6th seed, I feel like they're in a pretty prime position. If they're fully healthy, they're in a prime position to go far. Like, if you're taking on the Kings first round, I'm choosing Golden State, right? That's not a knock against Sacramento. I just don't trust those 2 and 3 teams right now. I just truly don't trust them. But I do expect those seeds to change moving forward because I think Phoenix is going to rise. I think the Clippers are going to rise, and so is Dallas. So that might not happen. But at that point, if the Golden State Warriors are the 5th or 6th seed, then you're facing, Phoenix. Hopefully, you don't want to face Phoenix, but if you face, let's say, the Clippers, right? Like, that'd be ideal. If they face Memphis, I'm choosing Golden State, right? I don't know. I don't know what else to really say. Let's see here. Most like the 4th most valuable team. Yeah, I'll look it up later. What do you think of the Gary Payton situation? Will you play for them in the playoffs? So I don't think Gary Payton's gonna be ready for the playoffs. I think that trade went through for multiple reasons. 1, they didn't trust James Wiseman. 2, they saved money with the trade. 3, I think GP is going to be a big part of their team next season, and they just want to get him there now. If he's healthy for the playoffs, though, he's a big piece for sure. I just don't know if he's going to be healthy for the playoffs. I'm gonna doubt that he will. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But to me, he's not playing. Yeah. I think the Nuggets win the West or the Suns. I agree with you, Cucklord. Like I 100% agree with you with that. I'm saying though that if the Golden State Warriors don't face the Nuggets or the Suns the first round, I can easily see them taking that series, right? Like I don't know if I'm going to choose the Warriors over the Dallas Mavericks per se, but if the Warriors face the Grizzlies the first round, I am choosing the Warriors. Okay, if the Warriors face the Kings, I am choosing the Warriors. The Clippers and the Mavericks, that's where it gets iffy for me. I do think that the Clippers and Mavericks could beat them, but those other teams, like these teams that, in my opinion, are not very accomplished in the playoffs and don't have star players that are accomplished in the playoffs, those are the teams that I'm looking at. I'm like, okay, yeah, the Warriors can for sure take advantage of them, right? Hence the Grizzlies, hence the Kings. And the thing is, though, is that even if the Warriors make it through the play-in tournament, they have a good chance of facing the Memphis Grizzlies the first round if the Grizzlies stay at second. It's crazy, right? It's crazy to think about. And remember, the Golden State Warriors, they didn't have home court advantage against, or no, did they last season? Now I'm blinking. 2022 NBA playoffs. Yeah, Golden State didn't have home court advantage last season against Memphis, and they still won, right? So I know it's like 2 versus 7 seed, like it's basically last season, right? It's last season 2.0. Do I think Memphis has gotten better? No, I truly don't. I don't think Memphis has gotten better. The bigger question is, does Memphis look worse? Or sorry, does Golden State look worse, right? Which I do think that Golden State has gotten worse. But if Steph's healthy and Clay can be back to where he was, and Jordan Poole steps up again, and Andrew Wiggins, steps up again, like that team looks scary again. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough. I just think that when I look at this Warriors team, when it really comes down to the top 8 players on a team, right? I don't know if I ever want to count out the Warriors. especially if Steph's healthy. So to me, it's like we're back to second semifinals of the playoffs last season. If we get Golden State versus Memphis first round, like we're just back to what it was last season. And again, Golden State won with Memphis having home court advantage. So if that's the case, then I'm choosing Golden State. Yeah. It's scary, man. It's going to be scary. I don't think any team wants to face the Warriors first round. But I do question, though, if the Warriors get past the first round, which I believe they will, if they're not facing Phoenix or Denver, if they then run into Phoenix or Denver, I choose then Denver and Phoenix to get past them. So that's kind of where it's like, okay, that's where I think the run ends. But that's that. Yeah. So many teams in the NBA, especially the West, man. Oh yeah, I've always said the West is been more stacked. I said it at the beginning of this season, and obviously KD going out West is a lot. Is just keeps adding to the West. So the West is, in my opinion, still the more stacked conference. Yeah. Lakers look good tonight. I'll have to look into though. I haven't really watched them. I saw their first game in a sense, but yeah, facing the Pelicans. Zion is going to be out for a while. I have no faith in him right now to get healthy. And that sucks for them because I thought the Pelicans were on their way to having like a very deep playoff run. But, yeah, they're going to figure that whole thing out. Brandon Ingram is back, thank God. He's looked good since he's come back. So let's see here. Box score-wise, yeah, D'Lo's doing D'Lo stuff, which is good. We need to see this from D'Lo. Jared Vanderbilt. I'm sure Lakers fans love him already. And then Malik Beasley is coming in and shooting threes. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Sorry. That was really gross. I do apologize if you saw that. Yeah. Alright. I gotta wrap up stream here. I gotta go take medicine for this. Sorry, when I talk a lot, my nose starts to run, and it starts to get really stuffed. So, yeah. What have been? 2+ hours now? Is there a DeMar DeRozan to the Lakers trade that would be worth doing? In my opinion, no. I'll just quickly go over this. But, yeah, in my opinion, it doesn't really work out. Let's see here. So, Lakers, this is what we're looking at, okay? The Lakers, obviously, they just traded their 2027 pick, so that's not available. Okay, so their next available pick to trade is 2029. That's not gonna work out. This is all the Lakers have to trade in the offseason. Okay, it's not good, right? I like Jared Vanderbilt. I do not want to trade DeMar DeRozan for Jared Vanderbilt. Malik Beasley is nice. I don't want to trade DeMar DeRozan for Malik Beasley. Okay, so there's not really anything that kind of looks enticing. In terms of a Lakers trade. Now, you can talk me into a three-team trade where the Bulls do send DeRozan to the Lakers, but then another team sends us a bunch of stuff in return, right? But yeah, I don't see Lakers and DeRozan trade working out personally. Just there's nothing that the Bulls would want, and there's no picks involved. So it doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Off-season trades would be a good topic for another stream. Oh, we'll definitely cover it. Yeah, for sure. I am thinking about, for the All-Star break, I am thinking about potentially doing like a live stream with you guys as we watch the All-Star break stuff. Obviously, I can't show the stream on the screen here, but we can like watch, the 3-point contest or the slam dunk contest together, something like that. So, yeah. DeMar for AD, that is not happening. I wish it would happen. They're going to want Zach for AD, I think, if anything. I don't think the Lakers trade Anthony Davis for either DeRozan or LaVine. I don't think that happens. But yeah. Yeah, that unfortunately that's not going to work out. I honestly think what the Lakers are all in on is that D'Angelo Russell's their third guy, right? And sorry. And D'Lo is an unrestricted free agent, but he's gonna resign. And the crazy thing is that I actually think the Lakers can get him for even cheaper than what he's getting right now. Like, he's getting $31 million now, right? I think the Lakers can re-sign him at like 28 or like 26 maybe. Like maybe that's a little bit of a stretch, but I do. Dang it, I hit the wrong button. I do like what the Lakers are, in a sense, like those trades that Rob Pelinka pulled off were just insane. But yeah, you re-sign D'Lo, bring back Rui, maybe re-sign Lonnie. I don't know. But like the weird decisions are going to come from like Troy Brown, Dennis Schroeder. I didn't even know that. Why is Jared Dudley getting paid from them? They're bringing back Wenyen Gabriel. He's played well. But then yeah, I'm gonna guess they're gonna guarantee Malik Beasley's contract, right? Because this is non-guaranteed, right? And then same thing with Mo Bamba. And then potentially move some of their other pieces. Like maybe they look to move Vanderbilt for something. I would keep Vanderbilt personally. Sorry. But yeah. They have options available for sure. They're gonna operate over the cap. So like, I think a lot of people are like, oh, they can operate under the cap, which like, I get it. Like, I'm not saying it's impossible. It's very possible. Like the Lakers could for sure they can operate under the cap, but that would mean renouncing all these rights. Okay, which means that you would not be able to re-sign D'Angelo Russell. So it's very possible they could do it, but for you to re-sign D'Angelo Russell, you have to keep his cap hold, which means that you're going to be operating over the cap. So that this $32 million in cap space goes away if you keep D'Angelo Russell's cap hold, which they're going to do. So to me, they're going to operate over the cap. They're going to try to see if they can maybe, like, you know, maybe it's a sign and trade with Rui, sign and trade with Lonnie Walker, right? Maybe they trade Mo Bamba, right? You know, and his $10 million, they'll guarantee his $10 million and then trade it away. Like, there's still ways they can kind of figure it out, right? Because part of the reason why they did this move is to just get money so that they can go ahead and trade out. Because if they didn't do this, they would have no salaries to go ahead and trade out, because all their salaries would just be LeBron and AD, right? And you're not trading either of those guys. So they needed salaries that they could go ahead and move in trades to start to upgrade their team. They did that with getting Malik Beasley, getting Mo Bamba, potentially Jared Vanderbilt, but he's not getting paid a lot, right? But then if they can potentially like sign and trade Rui, they can sign and trade Lonnie, right? They have more options now available to them that I think is very solid. They'll also have the mid-level exception, or the taxpayer mid-level exception, so it's about $5 to $6 million. So they'll get a player through that, and we'll see if they have the biannual available to them. But yeah, I like what the Lakers did. I don't think it's a championship caliber for sure, but they have moves, in my opinion, available to them that can make them championship caliber. And LeBron's not slowing down. I mean, the dude continues to play well, so if that's the case, it's all on Anthony Davis, and if the Lakers can get enough shooting and enough scoring around them. And I think D'Angelo Russell can legit be that third guy. It's up to them. Can they get the shooting, and can they get the defensive guys around those three guys that are solid enough where they can really support the big three? Which Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt, and Rui, it's a good start. It's not enough, right? They need to get more. And we'll see if they can get that, because they can for sure get that. Let's see here. I want to see how many picks they have. Or sorry, if they have any picks for this upcoming draft. If this is a pick swap, or if this is a one of those picks that just goes outright to New Orleans for them. Let's see here. So it's a pick swap. So New Orleans has the right to swap it, which we obviously know New Orleans is going to do, because New Orleans is higher right now in the standings, right? So if the Lakers fall below, if the Lakers finish below New Orleans, which is, it's probably going to happen, then the Pelicans had the right to swap it, which then the Pelicans would have the higher pick. But at least the Lakers have a pick, right? That to me is at least that's something. So they can go ahead and pick someone that can help the team, or maybe do a trade on draft night after they make that selection. So yeah, they have options for sure. anything, they better make some big moves. The LeBron 80 era is almost over for sure. I honestly think next season is the last season, because LeBron's contract is done after the next season. And I don't see him signing an extension, honestly, but I could be wrong. The dude continues to play, so I could be absolutely wrong. All right, as I said earlier, no stream tomorrow. I have a lot of stuff to do tomorrow night. But yeah, I'll be paying attention to Bulls versus Bucks. Probably not a lot of updates throughout the game on my Twitter, but I'll be paying attention. We'll see if DeMar DeRozan is going to be healthy. I don't know if he's going to be. I honestly think he might be having some serious issues with his thigh/hip area. So we'll see how that works out. But Bulls lose to Indiana. Better in terms of shot selection. Bulls made 15 threes on 35 attempts. But as I said earlier in the stream, the Bulls went to post up Vucevic down the stretch, and it killed them. So at the end of the day, this Bulls team still needs to get to more modern day like basketball. But I'm not expecting that to change anytime soon this season. But appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. If you could hit that like button if you haven't already, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Appreciate it a lot. All right, I'll see you guys whenever I see you guys next. I don't know when the next stream's going to be, but I'm looking forward to All-Star stuff. That's coming up here, so you'll probably see me during All-Star weekend, if that's the next time I stream. All right, see you guys. Peace, y'all.